opposite of yesterday.
Yeah. The interesting thing is...
Okay, I think we can just see the
Bridge RV now.
seafloor starting to come into view in the video.
For me to start.
Go ahead, Nev.
Yeah, bridge. I want to let you know the ROVs are on the bottom,
Okay.
and our bailout direction for today is to the west.
West.
You got it.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Back up in you a little lateral, I guess. Yeah, you can see bottom on yours as well.
Come up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna come down a little. Delta's at 15.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
You're tugging me a little bit.
Okay.
And we see a muddy seafloor. Sediment covered seafloor at the moment. The camera is looking directly down. And my guess is that we'll be
Pull in
seeing
the
some
Sirius sonar.
boulders soon.
Sure, yeah.
And RV.
Ah,
Okay, we're moving along a, looks like to be a fairly muddy bottom. Maybe a little bit of seagrass detritus, possibly some sargassum detritus.
I see light.
yep. Making my way over there. There we go.
And there's our first rocks. And if you look in the Sirius view, you can see that there's some
tilt up a
big
little
slabs coming up. Big angular slabs. Look to be
45
manganese
degrees.
coated from this
Dial
view.
this in here.
So can we get a view of the rock face, the larger one in the back?
Stand by, watch these. We're still getting set up here.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no problem. We'll get back to you as soon
Mike,
as
can
we're
we
good
get
to
the
go.
lasers on when you have a chance?
Sure.
That way, with them on, turn it up.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Did you copy that, pilot? If you could put the lasers on when you have time.
We did.
Got him.
And our bottom depth right now is 4,021 meters, 4021. Seen several large rock blocks, outcrops, no, rock debris from above.
It looks like debris. Maybe we're on a teleslope. It looks like big slabs, but we'll get a better idea as we start to look around.
Could be a little sponge on the bottom of the frame, just going out of field of view now. Small sponge.
Yeah, I saw a few sponges, I think, attached to a larger rock block that we just passed a little, about a minute
One
ago.
on the right too. Okay. And now.
Yeah, they're just getting set up, and then we'll take some zooms.
Looks pretty good. Been hands off for a while. Adjusting swing arms there.
Yeah, we're getting you splayed out here.
Copy that.
Just gonna go for it all the way. Oops. Something strange. That.
That's the up and under orientation.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
This is new then.
If that's not coming back, then it could be an issue.
Let me try stow direction. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, yeah,
Not so far down.
right, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, Andrea, I think I'm ready to zoom sponge if that's still the subject.
Yeah, there's actually some going out of your field of view now on that kind of ledge below you. No?
Bottom middle.
Yeah, you have to come back a little bit. And then we'll get the sponges ahead as well.
Copy that. Ship is not moving, so
Ship is not moving.
we have time.
There's an enemy if you keep coming.
Coming at
I guess that's good. You can zoom in there and
underneath this ledge.
Yeah,
here, this
yeah.
horizontal face. Okay.
yeah. I lost the enemy in my view.
I can back out a ways and taking it slow. I think this bottom is extremely silty.
Pretty flocculent.
Yeah. Okay, video, let's go zoom here. You want to start left or right, Andrea?
That's fine, and then you can move to the right.
Copy.
So we have one, it looks like it's a hexagonal sponge. Or a glass sponge. Okay, we can continue moving
Okay.
towards the right.
Just come a little wide, video. Hold there.
Another sponge, but that one does not look to be alive.
Stand by, video.
Octa Coral to the lower left.
Okay, go
I
zoom
don't
video.
see it.
Just hold there. Let's see. Ways off here. You said Octa Coral?
That's good. No, yeah, to the right, but apparently between the
Come
two
on, video.
sponges. I didn't see it, but I can look again.
Between the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see. It's kind of a branching structure. Looks like a fork.
Down to the left of the right sponge?
Yeah.
Copy.
You had a very tiny sea star on your 6.
Oh.
Just tilt down a bit.
Yeah, let's go Octa Coral or similar. Go in. And just hold there. There's not much light.
Now,
Is that?
Is that an anemone?
Yeah, it looked like we zoomed on an enemy, but I think
I'm not sure what that is. It's hard to tell.
that's an enemy.
Yes. That is a cool sponge on the right. Chris Kelly is just commenting to see the grass hula skirt on it. So that's in the family Pheronematidae. I'm not sure what that is.
Drifting.
It's got 6 branches coming off.
Is that full?
full zoom, yes.
Copy. Thank you. Okay,
That's
come,
okay, you can come out.
Come wide.
And then, yeah, if you just want to move along this ledge, we'll just check out what's there, and then...
Sure. Jared, you said sea star between lasers?
Yeah, they're about 5 mil down. There you go, you
Gotcha.
just passed over it.
Stand by.
Tiny sea star on the sediment surface.
Okay, go ahead, video. Partial.
Oh, good eye, Jared.
We usually don't see them this small.
Okay, keep coming. Hold there.
Is it a brittle star or a asteroid? It's tiny.
Oh, sorry.
A few pteropod shells. It's really fluffy sediment.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and take that?
Silty.
Want me to take a tilt?
Maybe. Yeah, go ahead.
Got it.
So we're zooming in on something that's like probably
Okay, go ahead, video.
2 to 3 centimeters
Max
wide.
zoom.
You zoom it well. I'm going to just try to hold here. That's
Yeah.
max.
That's max. This thing is very small. Good flying, though.
Enhance.
Thank you guys. That's great.
Sure. And I'll put my toe in here. I don't know if Mike is still back there, but you can get an idea of the sediment
Yeah.
there.
Another star, and you got a shrimp following you.
Yeah.
Thank you, pilot.
Sure.
To help a little bit, pilot, you know, when you see the rocks, what we're looking for is some sort of, you know, hole in that dark manganese coating. These rocks might not be white like the ones we saw yesterday, but if you see anywhere where the
Can you zoom straight on that kind of rock face, the rock edge that's more rugged on the left? It's kind of looks like there's an enemy coming off of it or something.
Go ahead, video.
Right by the lasers
Snap.
now, yeah. Oh, crinoid.
Crinoid?
Yeah, thank you. Comatulid crinoid. Feather star.
Looks
That's
like
good.
there's
Think
a couple more right
behind
above
it, yeah. Those look to be stalked crinoids or sea lilies.
Yeah, you say when, Andrew. Unless you'd like a closer look.
No, that's good for me.
Okay.
And let's check out the other side and
Come wide, video.
Video is wide.
Thank you.
more crinoids.
Yeah.
So if you want to zoom in,
Go ahead, zoom.
a couple more sponges.
There's the similar branch as we saw earlier, I think.
Yeah, they do look the same.
Dead sponge.
I'm wondering if they're maybe forams. There's another sponge. The remnants of a sponge.
Bring it back down. I think there's
That's-
a crinoid over here.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
That's good. Thanks, pilot.
Okay.
Happy with that.
Come on, video.
Shore side, is there anything else here you want to zoom in on?
Got a shrimp at the
No, I don't think so.
middle
Not
of the
me.
screen. We have time to snap on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's a shrimp right here at the base of the rock.
Go ahead, video.
Hi, Mike. Greetings from the Okeanos Explorer. Mike Cheadle and Andrea Quattrini sitting here on board, commenting to the outside world.
Max.
Copy. I'm a ways away.
So I don't think we saw this species of shrimp yesterday on the dive.
Okay, come on, video. come back in.
Okay, so we're going to be zooming in on a Decapod Crustacean here, a shrimp. First observation of this morphotype, this species,
Wanna go
on
ahead,
this
Dave?
cruise so far.
Oh.
Give me a tilt up. Thank you.
Another hexagonal sponge on the right there.
Go ahead, video. Just
Cheating in, yeah.
yeah, just try to fill.
Again, very long antennae, trailing behind the shrimp. Used to sense predators coming.
Stalk in the foreground.
And Tim Shank is just noting in the event log that the eye stalks are well developed on this species.
There you go.
Oh, and there he goes with his pleopods moving, swimming away.
Okay, come on.
Thank you.
Yeah, we lost video for a while there, but it could be a hippolyte.
Thanks, Dave.
It could be a what, Tim? I didn't catch it.
Hippolyte.
Okay.
You could just do the rostrum at the very end.
What was the defining characteristic of the rostrum?
No, I'd have to go back and look.
Okay. So that's one character that you look at to identify shrimps, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's gonna be a big,
Among about 25 other things.
What are some of those other things? Shape of the pleopods, the
Spines on the telson on the end.
sure.
The maxilla that they use for feeding. The segments of the legs. The teeth on the rostrum, whether they're on the upper side or lower side or both. How many teeth there are. How many spines there are on the back of the carapace. Spines anywhere can be diagnostic. They can be highly variable, but they're diagnostic characters. The trouble sometimes is that the different researchers working on them don't always agree on what characters are important.
Right.
So it becomes a lot of fodder for us to try to describe things.
Right, and that's where some molecular genetics can come in also and help guide some of the finding those morphological characters that are unique to certain species. And we're looking at a 5-armed Brastingid, but I believe there's one missing on the right. This is, again, a Phragastera species.
Yeah, he is
Please pardon the interruption. Your conference contains less than 3 participants at this time. If you would like to continue, press star
For
1 now.
Do you want to
or
get
the
a closer
conference
look
will be
at
terminated.
No, that's fine, thank you.
So, pilot,
Keep
you got
going.
a very strong sonar return on your right, and we're going to want to come around to your right a little bit.
Okay.
Our direction of travel is going to be about 080.
Copy that. Thank you,
Coming
man.
right to 080.
That species of shrimp off on the left we saw quite a few times yesterday.
Sonar return is up here.
That'll do it.
You know, Mike Vecchione is at the Smithsonian Institution, I believe in the Ocean Hall now with a group of folks watching the live feed.
There's an anemone.
So if the audio is on, welcome to the Okeanos Explorer live feed. We are on the east wall of Mona Canyon. We have an anemone, several sponges on the left.
I'm going to check out the end.
Anemone, please, yes.
Anemone.
And then the same glass sponge with a hula skirt.
Go ahead, video. Dave, you want to give me the littlest touch up?
Littlest touch up coming.
Just pushing forward a little.
This
You can still frame video.
This anemone
Right
has
there.
very short tentacles, and again, these bulbous tips on all of the tentacles, so it could possibly be a corallomorph, but there are some anemone families as well that may have these bulbous tips. So we're still trying to get some IDs on these anemones, so this is a great image.
And
Looks like it has a really short base as well.
yeah, there you go.
Getting right into the mouth there, that's awesome. Oh, can we get a side view? That's good, thanks. So this is another cnidarian. As we did our midwater transects this morning, we saw several different types of cnidarians, jellyfish, siphonophores. And one of the uniting characteristics of cnidarians are the cnidocytes, including the stinging cells, nematocysts. So these anemones have those nematocysts as well.
Can you come? Are we done here, Andrea?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you. Anything else on this rock shoreside?
Copy. Thanks.
Nope. I'm not hearing anything. So
Okay.
We're good here. Thanks,
okay,
Andrew.
thanks. So we can continue on. Let's get a move on up.
All right, are we ready for
We are
slow ship
ready.
move?
Yes, Nav, we're ready. Thank you.
Andrea's ready.
I guess it
Let's
might
do
be
it.
worth commenting that it looks like that big block in front of us is actually sitting on the mud, whereas the other blocks we've been seeing were actually
So we might start.
buried in the mud.
You guys can switch?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And so we're probably seeing blocks that have fallen down over a long period of time, and they progressively get buried
Bridge,
by the mud.
Go ahead, Nav.
And
Yeah,
the
Nav, we'd like to request a ship move.
Sure.
most recent
50
falls,
meters, 080 degrees, 0.1 knots.
so the blocks that
Copy.
have most recently
50 meters,
fallen
zero,
are sitting on
80
top, and the
at
ones that
0.1.
have fallen before are
Good
now
copy. Thank you, Bridget.
already
No problem.
buried by the mud.
Do we just have a shift, a pilot shift?
Yes.
It's like Mr. Dave,
It was a lateral move.
a lateral move.
We're changing the
Relief.
muscle groups that we're using here.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Hi, Mike. Rocks it is.
And biology.
The world looks different from the left seat.
Yeah, they do.
There is a really cool view in Sirius right now.
Dave, just quickly to help you from the geology, of course all this black stuff is the manganese coating.
Aye.
So if we see anywhere where it looks to be missing, that's from a geology what we want to look at. And it could be these rocks are not white underneath. They could be different to the rocks we looked at yesterday.
How durable is this coating? I see something white.
Oh, it'll be hard.
Okay, so I won't attempt to battle with the coating, but I see something here that looks whiter than most.
Ah. Could we have found our first piece of carbonate?
I'm getting to the limit of my tether, so it may bobble around a little bit here, but
Sorry to cut you off, Nav, but I'm lined up, and if pilot feels ready, then
pilot's
yeah.
ready.
No, we have a ship move on.
Oh, okay.
We're moving
Copy that.
080,
It's,
0.1 to start with.
Understood.
My theory is that we should start slow and speed up
Ooh,
as attention
is that an Octa Coral?
demands.
Is that where you're zooming in on, Dave?
No, I'm looking at rocks, but we're an equal opportunity tour bus here. Let's come on in some more video.
That's a
just
perfect
to
choice.
get an idea on the rock here.
Rock and biology.
Oh, no. I was imagining
Not what she
things.
wanted.
Looks like it's an
Okay.
old Cladorized sponge, another dead sponge, I'm guessing.
So this is...
Well, it's certainly not the same as yesterday. It's always tough trying to identify these rocks, but it's not the white, chalky rocks that we saw yesterday. The question is it still a piece of carbonate, or is it a piece of the material, the arc rocks that lie under the carbonate? I'm going to call in my shoreside folks here. Jason, any thoughts?
Up the top right, there's a walking.
It doesn't look like a carbon. Well, actually, now that we're a little closer, it could be a
dangling off
carbonate.
the end there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, carbonates can be kind of grayish.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard.
But the texture on it is different than what we have been seeing. Certainly we're going to have to look for more examples and maybe something in place before we can say. I mean, volcanics can look exactly like this as well. So.
Exactly.
There's a coprolid amphipod right there moving in the bottom center of the screen.
Dave, I think geology is done, but that's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, great catch, and that's what we're trying to see under this black stuff. Thank you.
We got any more zoom?
I am at max zoom right now.
Okay.
We could either try to get in closer or...
Well, let's come full wide for a minute. I'm going to... If this is a carbonate, it might be nudgeable.
full wide.
Thanks. We've got a bit of time before the move propagates down to the ROV, so I can play a little bit here.
I have just begun to move, I believe. Got time.
We're at a depth of 4,014 meters.
Had another serious thruster fault.
Hopefully I haven't... Well... Really wasn't able to get much of a scrape on it, but
Thank you for trying.
look for other opportunities. I need to turn up OKEX. Interested in.
We have a large feature ahead.
I'll be back with you in a second here, Andrea.
Okay.
Intercom's been adjusted in a peculiar manner. I learn more by listening to the back row than my colleagues in the front row, so I have a different idea of how it should be set up.
So quite a bit of sediment cover here on this rock face.
Indeed. This is where it starts to get tricky. You can see from a serious view, this is a big lump of rock. So is it outcrop? Is it a big fallen block? It could easily be a big fallen block. There's certainly some structure in there. You can see some sort of, I'm going to call them bedding, they might not be, but dipping from the top down towards
Several crinoids.
the bottom right.
heave amplitude is a little more friendly today, Jared. So if you want to do beauty shots from Sirius, just
That's
let me know.
exactly what I was just going to ask. I'd
Go
love
for
to
it.
push in a couple points.
We're about to get another set here, but
Oh. Stub my toe.
Another crinoid between the lasers.
Yeah, coming down.
okay, your uppers are facing down.
Down focus.
I thought I might have had things
Whoa.
filed up there.
Great close-up and Sirius view. Of the
Co-pilot,
D2
can we
looking at
tilt the
side of a
Sirius
rock
cam
face.
down?
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
Great, no
This
problem.
large rock outcrop or boulder.
Some more light out there.
Let's get a quick zoom. Got a couple subjects right there.
Same
Okay.
species of Comanche crinoid
Just hold that
or
zoom.
feather star.
Copy that.
Walk it up here. Just a couple more up this away. Two more.
Could you come wide for me, Jared? Thank you. Just want to adjust
Sure thing.
visually.
It's
Get
good
an
for me,
idea on
Dave.
altitude.
Yeah, thanks. Good for me too.
Wide, please. On D2.
Whenever you want it, though, Jared. Just
I guess the obvious
T2 for
comment
what?
is, although we can't actually see
play
under
on
the
the,
mud, the texture of the
CCHD for a minute.
rock looks very different to what we were looking at yesterday. And so then the question becomes, is it just a variation in the type of carbonates, or is it indeed the arc rocks that lie below the carbonates?
There's some sort of long, thin item
Sure, on
dead
the
ahead
right.
at the bottom of the screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
dead ahead bottom.
Looks like a piece of sargassum, but
Right here.
here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Snap
It's a whip
zoom.
of some sort.
Some sort of whip type. Lower left hand just went out of view.
Oh yeah, to the
Not
left,
the
Dave.
sargassum. Wide, please.
Not the sargassum. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, whip like. I'm gonna push you in a little bit here. so you
Yeah, I
can-
can't
Oh, perfect.
see it yet.
Nice.
Do you see it,
That's great.
Andrea?
Above the crinoids,
No, it's to the left.
to the left.
Field of view now.
The crinoids.
Floating
Left
back out
above
on
or
the
below?
camera platform.
Copy. Thank you.
Are you?
Up, up. Is this it? Coming under the lasers, right? Now?
No, I don't. Amanda, is it?
Oh, here it is.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
It's a
No,
call.
it's upper left.
Here we come.
Yeah, it's a whip. Good eye, Amanda.
Thanks.
Okay, let me calm down a little bit. Video, you can zoom halfway.
All right. There's your partial.
Yep. Look at that. Looks like we have a black coral, whip coral. This species was present on the dive yesterday on the west wall, Mona.
Which whip do we think this might be?
Yeah, we had a discussion yesterday that it could be a Sticopathes since all of the polyps are on one side, but I don't know, maybe somebody has experience with how deep Sticopathes gets. I feel like this is pretty deep for that genus, but I could be wrong.
Watch this.
Yeah. Scott says Sticopathes as well in quotes. So this is an Anapatherian or a black coral, and of course, if you look at it, you don't obviously see the black right away, but the black gets its name from the skeleton underneath the tissue.
Okay, a little more soon. That's good.
And Scott France has seen Stichopathes this deep, so that's good to know.
And something's on it.
Yeah.
Does it look like it's branched at the tip?
Something's on it, yeah. I think we're headed up.
Okay.
Got some time, Dave. I'm looking.
Yeah, there's a very tiny little nubbin of a branch.
Yeah, it does look branched. A nubbin.
Nubbin of a branch, alright.
Do we want any more detail on
Can
that?
we get back in there? One more
Sure.
zoom, close zoom?
Yeah. Hang on.
Thanks.
Full wide, please. Let
So
me.
you can get a really good view of that.
Yeah. If
Full wide.
branching is important, then we'll perch.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Bridge.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Come up on 5 meters here.
Thank you, Bridge.
No problem.
No, is that a squat lobster on the upper left? Yeah. Okay.
Let's try it from here, Jared. If I get any closer, I'm going to kill the light. Can you hold that for a moment? Maneuvering. I'm starting to blow it around a little bit here.
Starting to look down on you.
Okay. One more zoom.
So we're going back in to get a closer look
Co-pilot,
at
Mr.
this.
Schreiers.
There looks to be a little branch coming off the end of this coral, and
There it is.
from what we know, the genus Stichopathes doesn't branch, so that's why we're going in to have a second look
More
help,
zoom.
for identification purposes.
I think we're floating back, pilot.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
It's probably about time to go anyway, Dave.
Okay, wide, please.
No luck, pilot?
Well,
Full wide.
I think you'll be able to get a still frame out of that.
Sure.
To work with.
That's fine. And then as we go towards the upper left, I saw squat lobster.
Is your iris
You wanna
back,
snap
co-pilot?
zoom?
Thank you.
Copy, thank you.
Upper
It
left.
would be bottom left now.
Bottom left.
Where did it
Nah.
go? Oh, right under the lasers
Yeah.
on that little ledge.
Ship speed is 1/10 knot.
That's correct. Ship is almost done.
Roger, thank you.
Let's get a snap zoom.
On that squat lobster?
Yeah.
Next feature is
Backing up.
on
There you
Sirius,
go.
at least looks to be a ways away, so I think we're okay.
I think we're
Several crinoids above.
safe.
Yeah.
He seems to be covered with sediment. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nope, he's alive though. I was thinking the same for a moment.
Just as
Maybe it
Can
was a
you
molt.
maybe
personal
tilt
habits.
ahead quick and just see what we got coming?
Sure, I'm going to lose eyes on you
Looks,
here.
No
the
pilot?
white morph Munidopsis squat lobster.
Well, it's time for me to get over the other side of this rock here.
Okay.
Wide, please.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Dave.
Okay.
Come up and
Yeah,
push
we're-
forward, Dave.
Full wide, pilot. Thank you.
Time to go.
That away.
I think we could clearly see from the Sirius view just a minute ago that this actually is just another big block. It's not in situ outcrop. It's just a huge block that's rolled down the hillside. But still trying to get its lithology helps us understand what rocks are actually in the hillside.
Dashing.
Again, quite a bit of sediment cover on it. Sediment drape.
Let's just get a look at this as I go by, because this looks a little
Roger that.
different.
Ship is stopped.
Oh, no
Yeah.
problem.
Well, but
Well, but
Well, but we got 10 minutes of swing left. In this.
Okay. This looks mushy. Different.
Watching, Dave.
Yeah.
I think before you leave this area too, on the rock, there's a whip-like structure.
Okay, before I stir up any schmutz, let me investigate the...
Pilot, if you look at my cam, this is what you'll have to navigate if we swing
Or is that
close,
just a scratch in the rock?
which we likely will
Looks like it might
Zoom,
just
please.
be in the rock.
swing fairly close, I guess.
Need a zoom, please, video?
Yeah.
Actually, it's not a
Yep.
scratch. It's I'm gonna risk the geologic term. Is that an inclusion, Mike? What do you?
I mean, what it looks more like is there could conceivably be some sort of vein. Inclusion we'd typically describe as something that's round, but see how it's wrapping around the rock?
Yeah.
You know, as though it's a layer within the rock. And, you know, we can often get white-colored minerals like quartz, which will form veins in rocks. But it's interesting, you know, it's clearly manganese coated around it, so if that really is something showing through, has to be a reason why the manganese coating isn't sticking on that white area.
Or maybe that's the natural color of the rock and it's not coated at all?
Yeah, I think it's the iron manganese coating, because it's just so consistent all the way around, and it's so dark. It's not too many rocks that are black like that.
Okay, let's come wide for a moment.
Starting to swing.
But thank you again, well spotted.
Continuing to, I guess.
Okay. Oh, I've drifted off. So I'm curious about this spot right over here to my right. Because it looks like it might be that soft carbonate that we've seen before.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, I mean, obviously what we could be dealing with here is a mixture of carbonate lumps and basement lumps. That was pretty hard, right?
Yeah, it did not yield, but there seems to be a little lighter little bit of zoom, please. There on the... No more? I didn't really bother it in the slightest. Okay, wide, please.
Thanks, Dave. So just to explain to viewers what was happening there is, yesterday we were kind of strength testing the rocks by landing the ROV on the rocks and trying to feel how hard they might be. And yesterday the rocks were pretty soft. We thought they were chalky carbonates that the foot of the ROV could kind of dig into. And so there we were just strength testing that rock, and it appeared to be a pretty hard rock, maybe different to what we saw yesterday.
I think I see a squat lobster behind the sponge.
Oh yeah? See it now?
I'm still swinging your way.
Okay.
Gonna come up a bit.
Okay, video, a little bit of zoom. That's good.
So we have a nice hexagonal sponge here, and this Immunodopsis squat lobster behind it.
A little more zoom. That's good.
So somebody on Twitter asked yesterday how you can tell the difference between the Cladorized sponges and the hexagonal sponges. And I'm not a sponge expert, but what you can notice is on these hexagonalids, they're very porous, so they're filter feeders bringing in water, and then they have the central osculum where the water is expelled, where in the Cladorized sponges, they're carnivorous, and you really don't see these pores. They're not filtering water through, and I believe they also have modified or reduced number of flagellated cells inside, so they're really digesting their prey on the outside of
Just hold that, Sue.
of their body. You can also see on the Cladorized a lot of spines coming off.
Just working up the edge of the rock here. So you
Perfect,
see
thank you.
A little more zoom. I think I see a crinoid. Or more
Looks
zoom.
like it. It's a sea lily, a stocked one.
Okay, good. Coming up. Right
Busted.
under the lasers. Hang on. Stabilize. What is that?
Zoom tight. What are you looking at, Dave?
Right between the lasers. More
Okay.
zoom, please.
Is that a caprellid walking stick?
Looks like a 3-arm little star.
Oh yeah. What is
For
that?
max zoom right now.
Yeah, I gotta push in a little bit here. I've backed up.
Looks like a brittle star. One arm's missing on the left, or it's starting to regrow. Possibly. And there's some serpulid tuberms to the upper right of this brittle star.
Okay, coming on up.
Some a crinoid.
Coming up. And I think I'm close to done swinging. We got a little bit left.
Okay.
So if you can get up and over this feature.
Great. Just come around the corner and look at this sponge. Let's take some of that zoom out. I'm making people sick. That's good. Hold that. Some interesting stuff on this side.
Yeah, is that a... Oh, sea lily, stocked crinoid. So a lot of the echinoderms have oral and aboral sides. So oral where the mouth is and where they feed, and then the other side they will expel waste. But for the crinoids, these stocked crinoids, the mouth and the anus are actually on the same side.
Andrea, what's on the right-hand side of the screen, upper right, just going out of view right now? Just above the white sponge.
Coming back.
Was a branch.
Like a bat-to-bat-these types.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
right there. Good eye,
Zoom.
guys.
Yeah.
There's a current coming around here.
Yeah, that is an Antipotherian. That's a different morphotype. I wonder if that's what we just... That's really interesting. So the other morphotype that we saw, there was one little branch coming off. I wonder if this is the same. Can we see if the polyps are all on one side?
Pushing in.
Andrew, didn't we see one like this yesterday that just had
Just come out
sort of
of
like
the zoom a
3
little.
top nodes to it?
Yeah, hold that.
I missed it. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Branches come off the side, yeah.
But so the same morphotype. So do you think that quote unquote other stichopathes may have been the same species?
Yeah, I don't know. I keep looking for Scott to check. Come in
Oh,
there.
he just chimed in. Yeah, he agrees.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's that brings up a good point too. Is that we're
Video zoom.
seeing just a portion in the growth of that coral, right? So
Yeah. Can we zoom in on the white things along the central axis?
Sure.
Dave, there's a fish above you.
Well,
Do you
they're
think
on the
it's
branches as well.
brute?
but Maybe they're just gonadal.
I'm gonna go zoom
Possibly
in serial
brooding?
Particle polyps.
video.
Looks like they're brooding.
Hold there.
Did you hear that, Dave?
Yeah. Let's a little more zoom, please. That's good. Hold that.
So this black coral, I have not seen this species before. I'm asking our shoreside participants if they're familiar with this.
If we
You
need
can come on.
if we need any
Thanks.
more detail here, I'm going to have to set up a perch. What do we?
I think that's okay, thank you.
Okay, wide please video. Set up a perch. What do we?
I think that's okay, thank you.
Okay, wide please video. There's a bit of current coming around the rock here. You can see all this stuff flying by is
Oh, sure.
in the current, which is why this side of the rock's favored. I started on the lee side, and this side is getting swept by the current.
Yeah, so a lot of these animals have to be in more high current areas to get to food. They rely on capturing things from the water column. Although we don't have much current here. Do we have an estimate of a bottom current?
I can do a drift test here in a moment if when Nav says go. Let me get up current a bit.
That's your lighting. Looks a little off.
It does, and I'm not sure why.
Let's see.
All right, Dave, just
Let her go.
tell me when.
Okay, let me stop my motion.
So a lot of hard substrate here, which is necessary for sponges and corals to colonize these sessile animals, but there's also quite a bit of sediment. Sediment can smother particularly corals and inhibit feeding.
You feel like you're drifting with the current yet?
I still see particles moving relative to me, so not sure. I think it was in a little funnel over there between the rocks.
We're at a depth of 3,995 meters. The temperature is 2.3 degrees Celsius. Dissolved oxygen 8.1 milligrams per liter. We're just doing a quick drift test to kind of get an estimate of the bottom current. Yesterday, I don't think we had any current at all at the bottom.
Can you zoom
Mike is shaking
Sirius
his head.
briefly?
Agrees with me.
Video.
I guess I can speak, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we had too much of a current yesterday.
There you
I'm not moving here, but over by the rock, I was definitely having to push back against some current.
You're moving about 8 centimeters a second
Okay.
towards 225.
All right. Moving again. What's that?
Looks like you got a Holothurian at the bottom.
I think so.
Swimming Holothurian. We have two genus
get one
names floating
feeding.
around right now for this. I don't know if anybody's got it confirmed yet.
Come wide on Sirius video. Thank you.
Sirius wide.
Thank you. Way up there.
We can zoom on the.
And it's pretty translucent where you could actually see the insides of this animal.
More zoom.
Max zoom.
Okay.
It's good for me for ID.
Okay, wide, please. Let's see what else is down here.
Much larger blocks here today than yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is these are huge, big boulders, slabs of the hill face that have fallen down.
Coming for it. Watch my swing arm, please, Chris.
Got it.
Okay, let's go in about halfway, please, video. Let's hold that for a moment.
Okay, just both crinoids and another squat lobster. Unidopsis, that same white morphotype that we have been observing at these depths throughout the course of this expedition so far.
A little more zoom, please. One thing I'm noticing is these guys are dirty white.
Yeah, they have some sediment cover on them. That's fine, thank you.
Well, it's right about now that Tim and Amanda sing out about some microscopic object. So.
Shoreside, do you see anything here before we move on?
Coming up.
Yeah, we're just checking with Jason.
I'm good.
He's good.
Okay, thank
Wide?
you.
Thanks.
Doesn't look right, Dave, but your light configuration is normal.
All
Okay.
cameras full wide, so.
Alrighty.
Yeah, it seems like your light pool is a little bit shallower today.
I wonder if this sediment is
So
it's
she's
just
coming
darker
up.
here
Yeah.
in terms of sediment and or the looks to be a horizon here.
Yeah, I came around to see you. Let's get back on heading here.
Ah, sorry.
080.
Here it comes.
Great view in Sirius right now.
There you are.
Stirred up a little sediment on the bottom. So is that a whip-like structure? Can you zoom in on that, Dave?
I'm headed there.
Thank you.
Pilots, you ready for a small ship move to close the Sirius? Maybe
Yeah,
30
sure.
meters.
Yeah,
Co-pilot's ready.
Bridge RV nav.
Go ahead, Neff.
I request a ship move.
Sure.
30 meters, 080 degrees, 0.2 knots.
30 meters, 080 at 0.2 knots.
That's good copy.
Video.
Good copy.
That's different. Is it dead and broken?
Looks like
Yeah.
it. Wondering if it's a sponge
Sponge
stop.
skeleton, I think.
Yeah. Agree.
So,
How long ago have they?
Coming back up.
I think that's good, thank you.
Okay, wide, please.
Anything else on this rock? Maybe on towards
Around
the
the
left?
corner.
Yeah. Another Antipotherian, black coral.
Okay, video, we can zoom, and branching. All that. Look at that.
That's very cool.
Lots of branching. More zoom. Good.
Yep, very nice. No visible associates. And you can see the structure spaced about every, half a centimeter. So that's actually part of the mouth. It's between two central tentacles.
Do some of them have food in them that they've captured, or what is that?
Possibly. Good for me, Dave.
Wide, please. Let's have a look underneath here. We have time.
Is that a Piniastes?
We have a Holothurian.
Holothurian? I think so.
Zoom, please. I'll let him go. Wide.
Several crinoids and sponges attached to the clean rock faces. Can you go into the sponge in the middle? It looks a little different to me.
Sure.
Between the dead stuff on the top and the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bridge.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Coming up on 5 meters here.
Thank you, Nev. Thank you, Bridge.
No problem.
We're at a depth of 3,988 meters.
Oops. This too shall pass. Let's go ahead and zoom in. This is going to blow away pretty quick. Hold that.
Go.
There's
That's all we're getting.
it'll go. There's very large sediment drape, and I set down in it. And, it's a good thing about a current. It erases indiscretions quickly.
It's good for me, Dave. Oh, now that it's just cleared, yeah, it's okay. We can wait a little bit longer.
Why? No, it's not clearing out as fast as I thought it would. Oh, now I've calibrated the spooge density in this area.
Spooge density.
Stay out of it.
I guess it might just be quickly worth commenting. You can see how the slope failure works. We've got the little blocks being caught by the big block, which is poking up. And so what that's telling us is, in most cases, the smaller blocks are just going all the way down the hill slope. There's nothing to stop them rolling to the bottom unless you've got some barrier in their way.
I'll just leave the scene of the crime and
The scene of the crime.
go to the undiscovered country here.
Which Star Trek film was that?
It's a now I'm drawing a blank.
It's not a Star Trek movie?
I believe there was. There's some different color of staining here.
Ship is stopped, pilots.
Zoom, please.
Copy that.
And, it looks like something came down the hill and just scraped right there.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Still so hard to see underneath. The pale whitish color is reminiscent of carbonate, but it's so hard to tell.
Let's come out a bit.
Could you, if you pan up, there was
biology. I saw that.
Yeah.
There was biology.
Did you want to sit up for a closer shot, pilot?
No, I was just.
Was it a crinoid?
Let's snap in there and get an identification.
Maxim?
Not sure what that is. I hear typing in the back row.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either.
Wide, please.
Possibly a hydroid.
Okay.
I couldn't see any polyps.
Yeah, I don't think it was a coral.
Hydroid.
Let's come back in. It's right around here somewhere.
Below, I think. Yep, there it is.
More zoom. Just hold that.
Not a hydroid, but maybe a sponge or a bryozoan. Let's see, maybe a sponge.
Well, let's come wide. I'm not hearing squeals of excitement.
Not quite sure what that is, so I think we have a good shot for ID for now.
Wide.
Thanks. We could probably handle another ship move if we need to cover ground.
Affirmative.
Bridge, RV now.
There you go, Mike. Something that tumbled down the hill and.
Go ahead, Neff.
Yeah, Bridge, could we get another 30-meter move, 080 degrees, 0.2 knots?
Looking,
Good
Dave.
copy. 50 meters, 080 at .2.
Let's get a
Copy that, thank you.
Central Rock.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can see the bounce marks where
Yeah.
it, and I mean, maybe that is showing us it's a piece of carbonate. We're seeing the white inside where the rock has literally scratched itself as it bounced down the hillside.
We see those veins again, too.
Yeah.
If you can get any closer on the white, that would be great before you take off.
Okay.
Okay. Just hold that zoom. I'm going to push in. Yeah, there's actually, is that a vein or is that a old worm casing?
I don't think they're worm casings.
Yeah. Uri's just chimed in on the weblog and said maybe veins. I mean, maybe similar to that first piece we saw a little bit further down the hill. Again, if these are from the underlying terrain, it is possible that there's veins in there. There could be veins in the carbonate as well, for that matter.
Just slowly approaching.
As we get closer, I mean, we can see it isn't such a small block. I mean, the lasers show us 10 centimeters, so this block in itself, even though it looks small from a distance, is almost a meter long. Yeah, it really does look like a vein. I mean, the thing on the upper right, and you can almost see a kind of greenish coloration in the left-hand view in the white areas. Are we seeing a block of the arc?
Would that be serpentinite?
Shoreside, are you good with this view?
Okay, we're getting the comments coming from onshore that this one's volcanic. The volcanics have been
If you could scratch it, that would be great. But if that's not possible, then we
have
can
been
move on.
metamorphosed. I mean, Dave, if we get close to the green stuff is what I'm interested in.
Okay, let's come wide video. Let me see where I am here.
Yeah, did you hear the request from Shore to scratch?
Yeah, I did. I don't have anything sharp sticking out right now, but what I can do is get a lot closer. How's my right swing arm there?
Right
Chris?
was fine.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dave. So I was saying, the underlying rocks are a series of volcanics which are much older than the carbonates. They're between 100 million years and maybe 40 million years old. And these rocks have been metamorphosed. They contain rocks which we call green schists, and as the name suggests, they're called green schists because they can look green. And so I was interested in the green coloration that's on the bottom part of that rock.
Some tilt help, Chris. Perched on something, I'm not sure what. Zoom.
Welcome to the conference call. Did somebody just join us?
Center the green.
Center green eye.
Where down a smidge.
Ah.
Perfect. More zoom.
It is a different color.
And I don't think that white is scrapes necessarily.
No, I'm beginning to think it's in there, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, Jason Chater on shore sent a few minutes ago breccia, which is a rock that's made of different bits of other rock. And so one way we can get, say, the white and the green is it's different pieces of different rocks stuck together. Thanks, Dave. I think.
Just come up slow, tilt up really slow. See what else we've got here.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, Jason confirmed. He thinks we're seeing the rock there, that the iron magnesium coating isn't really there in the bottom left. We can see it getting darker to the right, but in the left, you can see the true color of the rock.
Okay, bump up again. Okay, let's just keep going up while we're here.
And actually to the right, Dave, where we saw that vein, where you saw that vein.
Okay, yeah. Okay, back down, Chris. A little bit more. It's right over here, down some more. Just keep it coming. I want to see it. Right
Just to the right a little more.
A little more to the right, yeah. Okay, coming over. There it is.
It really does look like a vein in the rock, or a couple. There's one going across the screen and then one trending down to the right. Thanks, Dave.
Let's go up a little bit before we have to lift off, Chris.
Let's
just have a look around.
I think we can get going, Dave.
All right, wide, please.
But I mean, thank you again, well spotted, and I think the key part was the bottom left-hand corner of that rock. So I'm going to bring the geologists on shore on board. Jason, or if Yuri's there as well, are we reasonably confident that that's a piece of volcanic?
ROV workshop. This is ROV nav.
I'm not reasonably confident about anything. Maybe my name, but the spelling of that changes all
Hey
the time.
Jeff, do you mind give me a little bio break?
But I think from the texture that we saw there, I don't think we were seeing much iron manganese oxide coating. So I think we were maybe seeing some primary texture, some primary color of the rock.
Nah, Bridge.
Always hard to tell. Again, we've
go ahead, Bridge.
We just came to a stop.
Thank you.
A physical sample in hand, but certainly it didn't appear to be carbonate. It very much looked like a volcanic of some description, whether it's a breccia or some more massive volcanic. Just something we'll have to look out for.
There's another one. Snap soon,
maybe
please.
more veining in these rocks. And certainly with some of the breccias that we've seen, the matrix or the cement is actually carbonate. So we're seeing a lot of different rocks than what we saw yesterday.
Sure.
So we're going to keep our eyes open.
Sure.
If they are, more volcanic, we're probably looking at the pre-carbonate island arc core of the Greater Antilles out here, or at least a small section of it. So we'll see as we go up whether we change into different rock types or if we stay in these types of rocks. So pretty interesting.
Dave zoomed in on another one of these white bands that we're seeing in these rocks. Most likely another vein. Could be a quartz vein. Quartz is the mineral that typically gives you this white color. Could conceivably be a carbonate vein. Again, I think...
What happened to our other laser, Mike? I can't see it.
Yeah,
it's coming.
There it is.
Oh, there it is.
I think Jason's point is the most important one here, that we're definitely seeing different rocks than we saw yesterday. And as we continue up, hopefully we can get some more clues to really get more confident about what we're looking at. Thanks, Dave.
Wide, please, video. check for comms as well. Jeff's on it.
Again, thanks guys, and especially thanks for Dave for your eagle eyes.
Well, most of it's boring mud, so anything that has contrast I go after.
I can see I can tell you're a closet geologist, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for the instrument to register.
I zeroed comms, or zeroed the errors. You have comms.
Copy video. Let's get a zoom on the biology here.
Ooh,
Okay, workshop,
Octa
8
Coral.
kiloohms.
Can you get any tighter on that?
I can.
Somebody just join us?
Buenas tardes, Graciela here.
Hola, Graciela.
Hello, Graciela.
Hola.
So we're looking at
Hola,
2
hello.
octocorals right now. They look to be Anthomastus-like, but we generally see Anthomastus to have a completely different color, but we often see the same species or the red and white morphs, different color morphs, but these look interesting.
Okay, just getting myself perched here so we can get tight. Okay, video. Just hang on a little bit. I'm still slithering down the slope. Wide. Let's just start over.
So we're going back in to get a better look of these at these octocorals. There's also been a request, Dave, from the shore side, and I don't know if this is a good time to do it, but there's some of these dead sponges that have been really common throughout all the deep dives, and we don't have it narrowed down to the genus, but it would help if we knew whether they were spongy or if they were really brittle, and got permission from Brian to reach out and just poke one and to see, a dead one of course, to see if it'll break if it's brittle. So
put that on the list.
Okay.
Video, if we can get a zoom. Chris, if you can help with tilt.
So looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 polyps. This again really large polyps here to maximize capture of food. Large, very long
Good there,
tentacles.
pilot. Yeah.
Pinnules are quite long.
We can come in a little bit more now.
That's full.
Oh.
Beautiful, thank you.
Let's come wide.
So 2 species of corals so far. The Sticopathes like a black coral, a branching morphotype Antipotherian, and these octocorals here. Looks like several arrowworms or chetonaphs in the water. Those are also commonly called bristlemouths.
Snap zoom on the lasers there. What is that? Is
That
that dead sponge? of
looks
which
like
we
it, yeah.
speak? So we just did a test of our new dexterous and delicate manipulator, and it's not healthy today.
Oh, okay.
We have a strong and clumsy manipulator that probably wouldn't be the best tool, but that thing was waving around. Let's get another look here. Oops.
That's not the one we're looking at.
Okay.
They're plate-like, pretty common.
Okay.
That actually looks like remnants of where a sponge was attached.
See.
And we're just commenting in the chat room. We haven't been able to identify the corals today. They're quote-unquote new to our eyes, although they might not be new species, but we are unfamiliar with these different types of corals. But what's really important is that you need a small sample in order to look at, for the Octa Corals, these small calcitic elements called sclerites, which are scale-like structures found within the Octa Corals. Those are useful for ID. As well as the shape of the branching and different spines on the black corals, important for identification. Can we look at that urchin a little bit closer? Is that what you're attempting to do?
Yeah, that's what I was fumbling around at. Let's come wide video. I think I'm...
And also having a little bit of tissue for DNA barcoding and for genetics helps us to identify some of these corals as well. Big anemone in the back.
See it. Trying to get some light on the subject here. Okay, now we can get a bit of zoom here. It'll help with tilt, Chris.
You got it.
Got one toe on the...
Is this just an urchin test? So, not a live animal, but kind of clinging to that rock pretty well. Or is it a sponge?
Look at that.
That
Well,
looks
that's
great.
pretty interesting.
Making use of the swing arms.
Ready to pull credit?
And then another tunicate on the bottom right. The Carnivorous Predatory Tunicate. This is pretty cool looking. Spiny, it's very cylindrical. Not seeing a large central osculum, which you would expect for a hexagonal sponge, but...
Well, you can see the pentameral symmetry.
All right.
Could be an urchin. I don't know what those yellow spots are.
Come all the way to wide.
Pilot, is there anything else on this rock we're going to be
There's
looking
an
at?
anemone.
That's interesting. I think that's definitely new for this cruise.
Tilt back.
New for us.
Ooh, I see
Possibly an urchin.
It's a beautiful anemone at the top.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
There's something right next to it as well.
I need your assistance with tilt again.
Got it.
These are all one-toe perches.
Understood.
Okay. Come on up and zoom.
Going for critical?
Very wide base. Again, very short tentacles, has these bulbous tips, possibly a corallomorph.
Video's
I
happy.
think there's something just over here to the right.
I thought I saw something, but I didn't see it when we came in.
Okay, come out a little bit, please, video. Just slowly.
Walking
No,
over.
it's up there, full wide. Ah, some contrast in the rock back here.
Yeah. From afar, it looks similar to what we were looking at before. It
has that greenish
tinge.
cast.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Zoom, please. We're going for that.
Left-hand side.
So, yep.
Yeah. I mean, it looks similar, Dave.
Yeah, there
Yeah. I mean, what we might be starting to see there is you can see the individual little clasts in that rock. You can see the little white dots, which might be individual grains of perhaps even feldspar or a mineral like that. Can you put the lasers on, Dave, quickly for me so I can
pull out just to pick up the lasers, please, video.
so we get a size?
Filter.
So if that's true, then those grains are something like 2 or 3 millimeters across. It really does look like a volcanic rock. Thanks, Dave.
Wide, please.
So there's, before you come wide, Dave,
Oh,
there's a something in the lower left of that rock. It's fan-shaped.
Back in, video.
What are we looking for, pilot?
Fan-shaped, lower left. I see it.
Oh.
It's in around the corner
Yeah,
there.
it's the same
Got it.
mystery
morph that we were looking at a
Mystery
little while
morph,
ago.
yes.
The sponge, possibly.
Let me just, since we
Or hydroid.
walk across the rock here.
Yeah, you had both toes in last time.
And this is the, there's a wide, please. That's the uninteresting side of the rock there.
There's a speed bump in between you and it.
Yep.
So the color on those rocks in the back are kind of greenish, or is that?
Yes.
It's cool.
We're not imagining things. It's
So is that what we were discussing yesterday, Mike? That you were interested in green rocks?
The underlying volcanic rocks are much older, and some of those rocks have been metamorphosed to what we call greenshish facies. They've been heated up and put under pressure, and they've become a metamorphic rock. They've changed. And and it's called greenschists because, guess what? Often they look green. And so that green coloration could be telling us that we are looking indeed at metamorphosed volcanic rocks that were part of the underlying basement of the island. And the more and more we're looking, the more and more I'm kind of getting convinced that's what we're seeing.
That's amazing.
wide, please.
Tilt back.
We're at a depth of 3,962 meters.
Just checking out the terrain.
You guys are going to be ready for another ship move soon?
Yeah, unless I come across the Wonder Rock up ahead. It's looking kind of barren.
Yeah, I'm lined up, so I'm good to go.
To explain to viewers, we're looking at the bathymetry here, and what we can see is that we're on a slightly more gentler slope at the moment, and that's why we're probably seeing more mud and blocks.
Requesting another 30-meter move.
But ahead of us,
080 degrees,
the contours are starting to get really close
Copy.
together. We got a little ways to
30
go,
meters,
but
080
we get there,
at
we're
point 2.
likely to see a much steeper slope, and maybe some of this elusive true rock outcrop, because I think at the moment we're on a talus slope, we're on a scree slope, where all these blocks have fallen down from a cliff face above us. The other thing to note is we're seeing ripples. Dave was mentioning at the start of the dive the problems with the current. Well, we can see these ripples in the sand, which are kind of running almost in the direction we're traveling, probably caused by the currents ripping around this face and forming ripples in the sediment.
Getting out there a little ways.
Yeah.
Stalked sponge on the rock towards the back. You get a snap zoom on that?
We can snap. It's
Snap's good.
snap it. Snap away video. It's
Looks like a common species we have observed. I think we have an ID on that. I just got to look back through my notes. Thank you. That's good, pilot.
wide, please.
So Jason, I'm going to put you on the spot again while we're just driving over mud. You mentioned about what little we know about the rocks that are below the carbonate. Would you like to chime in for a couple of minutes as we pass this much finer grained scree slope?
A lot of rock rubble there.
I don't know that I can do a couple of minutes, but
30 seconds.
Seconds, maybe.
30 seconds.
We don't know a lot about the rocks. Thank you.
We need some credibility,
we're
Jason.
seeing some nice debris apron talus slope here, which is always good to see. But we haven't, you know, I say we, and I mean the scientific community as a whole, haven't sampled too many rocks from the whole area for some of these specific intervals that we're diving now.
Thanks, Dave.
So I was actually just, as you called, looking up some dredge records that I have from this wall to see what came up, and you know, it had like granodiorites and metavolcanics and a mix of different things. So from around this depth and maybe a little deeper. So certainly we're kind of confirming what we're seeing. So, you know, this is certainly not what we saw yesterday. I think we're still a little deeper than we started.
Very nice.
So we're about where we started yesterday.
Chris. Copy.
But if the pilots
Zoom
want
video.
practice picking up a rock and, you know, holding onto it for the rest of the dive, that
You know what we're looking for, don't you, Chris?
Green.
But certainly, you know, everything we're seeing has the texture of volcanics or metavolcanics. Certainly some harder kind of rocks that, you know, here we can even see some of the grain texture.
Yeah.
In the rocks themselves, so they don't have any appreciable, you know, iron manganese hydroxide covering on them, which means they haven't been exposed for too long, and it's kind of confirmed by this kind of talus slope that we're seeing.
Sure. Excuse me for a minute, Jason. I think that's kind of cool, Dave. My guess what we're looking at there is a crack that was originally in the rock. The white stuff, I think, is one of those veins that we were looking at. Except this vein, we're looking absolutely perpendicular to it. And so, for example, you know, just in the middle bottom of the screen, you can kind of almost convince yourself, you can see, if just come down just a tiny touch, just there, you can almost convince yourself that we're seeing the vein face on. The other possibility is, as Jason just said, is there's a whole bunch of rocks down here, and I'm kind of thinking as I'm talking, but whether the white is a mineral we call feldspar, and we're looking at the center
I don't know exactly
of
where it is.
a
Do you?
granodioritic
I can probably find it,
which
but if you know where it is.
made of white minerals and black minerals. I guess the big message here is these
Administration SOPs?
really on the rocks we were looking at yesterday.
video come out just a little bit?
All right, got my ears
just
on.
to get the picture here. Yes.
Thanks,
There's
Dave.
the whole story.
That's great. Again, my hunch on that is that we're actually looking at the face of a vein.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Let's come wide now, Lydia.
I think we need to work our way up slope. We only have about 2 hours left in the dive.
Okay.
See what's up slope.
Up we go.
Up.
I agree totally, Amanda. I think the cool thing is we've now seen enough to know that we're seeing rocks that have come from below the carbonate.
Tilt back.
And we've ground truthed that. And so now the trick is to go up there and see if we can find them in situ.
How many copies you want, Todd?
Pilot, I'd like to watch this guy for a second.
Okay. Lasers
Okay,
off.
they should be going to the big printer.
If he's gonna
Another
go
Munidopsis squat lobster.
Yep.
Can you zoom in anymore? Yeah, that'd be great. This one could be different. The rostrum looks, trying to see if it's as curved and pointy as the other very white Munidopsis.
Sorry. I'll come back.
This one looks a little orange to me. So we have a different species of Munidopsis. We also really don't see that long, pointy rostrum.
let's try and follow him down if we can.
Again, just a quick comment. And
Can you comment anymore? Sorry.
Just a second.
Don't mean to interrupt you, Mike.
No worry. No need to zoom in for me, but just as a comment, the rock on the left had that green color again.
A little help with tilt, Chris.
Copy.
Got a perch here, I think.
Coming down.
No. Just chasing with the tilt. Can't have gone far. Oh, there he is.
Good.
Okay, come on back in.
That's all we got.
Yeah, this is different.
He's headed. in
That
the
white
right
squat
direction,
lobster
yeah.
that we had seen yesterday and the first two dives really had this like triangular, long, pointed rostrum, and definitely don't see it on this species. This one is long but more skinny.
Are we out of tilt?
Out of tilt.
Thank you.
Okey-doke.
That's
Okay.
good. I think we got a good look at it.
All right,
Little
we got
bit
what we
here.
got. Thanks, guys.
There you go. I got you. Back, yeah.
And that's a beautiful debris apron. You can see that. You can just visualize how that stuff is just rolling down the hillside. And, you know, as Jason, I think, said, it has to be relatively recent. It's not covered by the mud. So we know that this hillside is, you know, still moving in very, very recent times. It's always hard to, which is why I was hesitating to put a real number on it, but you know, it certainly is, that talus certainly isn't buried by mud.
Starting to see reddish rocks.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm all lined up.
And then
What is that? Is that another snap zoom? That's another we've been calling a vein, I think.
Yeah, I think on the way to the left. Yeah, that could be.
That little bit right there. Okay, it must get up the hill.
Yeah.
On the left here, there's...
On the left?
Yeah.
There's another
No,
vein.
it's just, is that rock more reddish? That side?
Yeah.
What would that be from?
What's that?
I mean, again, ultimately a different chemistry. The simple answer when you see a red rock is there's some iron in there. I mean, the iron is causing the coloration.
Full white.
Andrea's laughing at me.
Thanks, Copilot.
But the corollary to that is, just seeing a red rock, something that's red, it's hard to tell what it is. You could have retorted and said, well, green could be iron too, because it depends on the oxidation state of the iron.
Can I ask about the depth and the temperature at the depth that we are at?
Sure, the depth is 3,938 meters, the temperature is 2.39, and the dissolved oxygen is 8.10 milligrams per liter.
Yesterday you gave us a reading on the salinity.
The salinity is 34.9.
A little bit of zoom, please. All right, and some tilt.
And we're heading to what depth now? From 3,938 to...
So, Graciela, we landed at about 4,000 and I think it was 17 meters. And we're going up slope really as far as we can go until the end of the dive. We're going to be on the seafloor until about 4:30, 4:40. At the moment, we're on a relatively gradual slope. We've seen these big blocks. We're on a talus slope. All of these blocks have rolled down the hillside. But what we're clearly seeing is these are very different rocks to the ones we saw yesterday. So we're on the opposite side of the canyon at the same sort of depths, but these are the rocks underlying the carbonate basement. These are the volcanic and metamorphic rocks which underlie the core of Puerto Rico. And we're traversing up the slope, and the slope's going to get much steeper in a while, and we're hoping to find real rock outcrop, in situ rocks, which might be the source of all these rocks which have fallen down the hillside.
Opportunity for me to go into Spanish now and give a little summary.
Of course. Go ahead.
Okay. Sí, la buceada hoy empezó en 4.017 metros de profundidad. Ahora estamos a 3.938. Digo estamos porque con esta fotografía, con estos videos tan excelentes, de tanta resolución, parece que todos estamos a bordo del barco, inclusive que parece que estamos a bordo del D2, pero en realidad los científicos y las personas que ustedes oyen, excepto Mike y Andrea, que son los que están en el barco ahora mismo, todos los demás estamos en diferentes partes de Estados Unidos y aquí en Puerto Rico, sentados en nuestras oficinas, observando lo mismo que ellos están viendo. La diferencia es que todos los expertos que están alrededor en sus oficinas pueden contribuir a lo que se está viendo en el momento y pueden identificar las especies en el momento. Ahorita estuvo haciendo un resumen de lo que se había visto hasta ahora y mencionó que hay algunas especies que no se pueden identificar, que son nuevas para las personas que están viendo el video en estos momentos, que eso no quiere decir que no las hayan identificado antes, pero es una de las cosas que queda pendiente. La temperatura en esta área tan profunda es de 2 grados, 2 grados centígrados, con una salinidad de 34.9, que es bastante salada, y un oxígeno disuelto de 8.1 miligramos por litro. Mike nos estaba contando el tipo de geología que hay en esta área, que son unos bloques sueltos que realmente representan lo que está bajo las capas de carbonato que se vieron ayer. Estamos en el lado este del cañón de la Mona. Ayer se estaba buceando en el lado oeste. Estas son rocas de origen volcánico, que son realmente lo que es la base geológica de Puerto Rico. Están pensando que van a poder llegar a un área relativamente más inclinada del talud, para ver dónde se originan estas rocas que parece que han caído por la ladera de esta área y se encuentran dispersas en el área que estamos observando. Y ahora voy a dejar que nos describan porque parece que hay algo que nos van a decir. Go on, what are we looking at now?
Looks like it might be a piece of wood which the pilots have picked up on. And so we're just setting down to zoom in.
Video. Bamboo.
On your command.
Looks like a piece of bamboo. Is it bamboo?
Yes, it is bamboo.
But with very
back up.
Very few critters on it.
It's a good. It's at a good angle for your rotation.
Oops. There we go.
Yeah,
There's the joint.
definitely bamboo.
And out a bit video when you get ready. Nobody home.
Yeah, maybe recent enough that it's not been able to been colonized.
Wide, please. There's your sediment consistency.
Es que los pilotos que no están a bordo de los robots están en el barco, desde donde dirigen estos robots que están a 3.900 metros de profundidad. O sea que está el barco con una línea conectada al primer robot, con una segunda línea conectada al segundo robot, y estos son los pilotos que están en el barco. Hay un grupo que está haciendo su entrenamiento durante esta porción del viaje, porque el Okeanos Explorer después se mueve hacia el Pacífico, y eso que acaban de ver, pues sí, es un pedazo de bambú a 3.938 metros de profundidad, que parece que ha sido muy reciente el haber llegado a esta profundidad porque no estaba muy colonizado. Así que este esfuerzo colaborativo entre tanta gente, especialmente los pilotos cuya formación no es necesariamente una geológica o biológica, están cooperando científicos para poder identificar estas áreas. Mientras más ojos están mirando esto, más información podemos obtener.
So we're continuing up this slope. We're on this more gentle part, and so it's very sandy, muddy, and we're still seeing these boulders, this scree slope, all these rocks rolling down the hillside and piled up.
Pilots, we have 5 meters left on that move, just based on serious sonar. You want to keep moving?
Yeah, keep
Pilot?
Yeah.
Could we focus on the little white dot?
Bridge, are we now?
Headed that way.
Go ahead, Neff.
Could we tack on another 30 meters at 085 degrees, 2/10 of the knot? Thank you.
I'll let you get this before I come up.
Okay, let's zoom.
A little star. This one's about 5-6 centimeters across.
And what's the size of the rock where it's sitting on?
So the rock is, I think, one of these ones again that's covered by this black coating of iron and manganese, so we don't quite know what's underneath it. The lump is about 80 centimeters across.
We full zoom.
Pilot, did you copy that?
Is that we hold that?
Yeah, if you can,
Okay.
if you can get closer. I
Closer.
mean, zoom
Yes.
in. Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's see if we can drive down closer.
A little bit, yeah.
More zoom makes it more
You
jittery.
A little bit of time here, and then I'm gonna have to come up.
Okay.
Got some time there for a good shot.
Yeah, I think I've got a perch here. You can get on the tilt.
and if the folks on shore could chime in about what kind of sea star this is.
Perfect zoom.
Yeah, we might need to phone a friend on this one.
Phone a friend.
I'm waiting for the chime.
Full zoom.
Beautiful pilot.
Critical.
You can see two feet are extended.
You guys are just trying to make me feel better. So we've got this beautiful sea star, about 6 centimeters across, and you know, there's just so many different types of organisms down there that it really is difficult to know them all, and you have to be an expert on sea stars to really be able to identify the individual species.
Just a little more light here.
Alright. Video's all set.
Thanks, that's great. I will be able to send that back to Chris Mon. He'll give us an ID probably in a few minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. Come wide video while I'm perched here. And if there's anything else in the field of view of interest.
Mike, the reason why I was asking about the scale is because it's interesting that in such a big area, the ROV can focus to measure such a small organism.
We could just
so I'm going to explain what you told me about the dimensions in Spanish.
Sure, go ahead.
11 o'clock high.
Los dos puntitos rojos son un láser que miden 10 centímetros. O sea que con eso se pueden medir los organismos que se ven. Si se fijaron, era una imagen bastante amplia, enfocando en una estrella.
Hello, this is Chris Ma.
Hi, Chris. Welcome to
Hello. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So the animal that you just saw, that sea star,
yeah, go ahead.
that has literally never been seen other than in the holotype.
Wow.
It's a rare species called Leechmaster spectabilis. The last time it was seen was off Cuba. It's the only record from around
Go ahead, Bridge.
Coming up on
the late 19th century. I've only seen one specimen, the holotype at MCZ, and that's why I recognized it, because it's 6-rayed, it occurs at a great depth.
Gonna get a little closer unless you have any
literally just sort of, from 15 to 20 weeks.
Go for it.
And I'm sort of shuffling around my desk and going through my book trying to find more information on it, but this is the first time I think this has been seen in probably 100 years.
Wow.
So, good job.
That's great, Chris.
I have no idea I don't think we ever even knew what color it was alive. So, but it's 6 rays, it's a solastrid. Fantastic.
Nice,
fantastic to
guys.
see it.
Thank you.
And I will try to provide as much more information as I can, but it fits, the amount of information fits into a short
5-count
6-inch square block in my big book on Atlantic fishes. Well, not, but the classic reference on Atlantic starfishes.
That's great.
So, well done.
So,
thank you.
Thank you for
so
calling.
excited.
I will now
I wanna see
go
it
back
again.
to look up more information on this. Thanks.
That's
Bye-bye.
great. Thank you for calling.
Chris, really appreciate you chiming in. Well,
Amanda, will you
I'll talk to you later. Oh yeah, that was fantastic. That's I think one of the holy grails of Atlantic deep sea starfishes. So thank you.
Can you say the name on it again for us?
It's called Late Master, Laetmaster.
Chris, this is Andrea Quattrini.
Decapod.
That's awesome. You said 100 years.
Spectabilis.
Tilt back.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Glad
Bye-bye.
to do this. Thanks.
You go away. You missed the good stuff.
I saw it. I was watching another room.
You got me so excited. I had to see it again.
That's awesome.
So, Amanda, would you also fill...
Pilots, the ship is stopped.
Okay.
Got a
Amanda, could you fill
pretty
us
good
in
wall
on
coming up, looks like in Sirius.
what we were looking at as well while Chris was talking?
What we were...
What are you asking, Mike, of them?
If you were watching, you can answer the question. While Chris was talking, we were looking at, was it coral or?
We were looking at 2 crinoids.
Crinoids.
Yep. Comatulid feather stars. And our depth is 3,914 meters.
And Graciela, sorry, that excitement came in the middle of when you were talking. Do you want to carry on and finish what you were saying? Jason sends in the magic words. This might be real outcrop.
Picture. Good.
So we're getting much closer to the steeper topography, and we might be seeing outcrop here poking through the sediment.
Judging by the Sirius view, I don't think that could hang there unless it was attached to something below.
So Dave is suggesting outcrop as well.
Getting real hard returns.
Looks like another swimming Holothurian.
Straight out for me.
Let's zoom Holothurian while we hang here.
Yeah, come up a fair amount, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, this one looks especially purpley. See, it was a deep purple.
Yeah, it's
The purple one with it's like a Pineastes, I believe. We're just doing a pilot change as well.
I'm gonna reposition for the benefit of my replacement here, so I don't leave him.
All right.
Staring at a rock wall.
End
of his nose.
Come up and get some eyes on this, Dave.
Yeah,
still coming up.
Are we still swinging a little bit, or are we okay?
Not quite sure. So better be safe.
All cameras are wide.
Right, thanks, video.
Very welcome.
Here's another interesting bit of brightness, Mike.
Indeed.
A little bit of zoom, please, video.
So Dave, the pilot, has picked out again another different coloration, and we're just zooming in on the rock to see if we can see the interior.
Oh. Blown into town on a cloud of dust, but there's a most able replacement. Just walked up, Todd, shipmate of many voyages and ace pilot. So we're going to do the handoff here.
Okay, thanks,
but
Dave.
I think we have arrived at what we want. If you look up in the Sirius view, there's
pretty extensive.
Quite a bunch of good stuff, which I'm going to let Todd take over the tour bus here. Let me give him some room.
All right. Pilot, this video I'm going to
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, the rest of our RV team. And once again, superb.
Leave you in the
every
capable
way.
hands of Dan.
So we're undergoing a pilot change, and so we'll hang for a little bit because we really are next to this very, very steep wall. This looks like we might actually have reached the outcrop. And so we just pulled back a little bit while we change pilots, and then we're going to proceed up this wall looking for the really cool biology. And if you were listening just a little while ago, we really excited the biologists by finding a sea star that nobody had ever seen for 100 years. So there's a lot of excitement here at the moment.
And Chris Ma also said that it's only known from the holotype, which means it was the specimen collected and was used for
Negative,
the
ship
formal
is stopped.
description of the species.
Sirius is still swinging though.
Okay. How much do you think? What was the last ship move?
It's not a lot of. I don't know how you can. The last ship move was 30 meters. We're moving pretty slow.
Okay, good.
Let me summarize the excitement.
Do you see the
yeah.
tree lines up
Oh
ahead
yeah.
of us?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We'll take it
Sure,
easy.
perfect time,
It's going to be a lot of fun
Okay.
coming up.
The sonar return.
Okay. Sí, es que como habrán notado había mucha excitación porque la estrella que se encontró, que estábamos hablando de ella justo en ese momento por la diferencia que hay en la escala, una estrella que mide alrededor de 5 o 6 centímetros sobre una roca que tenía que medía aproximadamente 80 centímetros en un área tan inmensa y tan profunda, pues es una maravilla que la óptica y el equipo fotográfico de el robot pueda encontrarla en esta área tan inmensa. Toda la excitación era porque esta estrella de mar, el experto en las estrellas de mar, que fue quien se conectó y habló, dijo que el único espécimen que él había visto era el holotipo, y el holotipo es aquel organismo que se recoge y con el cual se describe la especie, y que databa del siglo XIX, recogió una colección que se hizo alrededor de Cuba a una profundidad de 1521 metros.
You want me to
O sea,
zoom
que
in your
esta está
sonar?
más
It's out at
profunda.
30 meters.
No había
So that's not
fotografías
as
ni una
useful as it
descripción
can be
completa
closer.
de ella, y no se sabía ni de qué color era.
Can you zoom on the crack, please?
Sure.
In front of us, next to the sponge.
Ready
Thank
when you
you.
are.
Pilot, did you hear that?
I did. I could hear Amanda.
Okay.
Y entonces esta era la
Zoom on this
gran
crack.
excitación que había, y aunque no
This
estamos
crack.
recogiendo muestras en este momento,
Yeah,
por
I
lo
think
menos
so.
la fotografía
Good video.
sirve para añadir a la descripción de la especie.
Can you zoom on the link? Yeah.
Sirius is
Just
right
right.
about lined up with the ship transmit at this point, so he's probably not moving much.
It does seem like it's pretty much stopped.
Great. Good, because, boy, look at the bathymetry up ahead.
Yep.
We're in for
Can
some.
you check if the stria are real or
Okay,
are
like
they
come partial?
just sediment running along?
Okay, Andrea. Kind of set up to look at this sponge. You want to look at it?
Hold on just a second. I'm getting some feedback here. I'm trying to. I think Uri's asking a question about looking at something more specific on the crack.
So what I'm guessing is Uri's trying to look for striations or vertical little scratch marks, or they might not be little, but vertical scratch marks on the face of the scarp, and those scratch marks would be actually made by the fault itself. And so that's my hunch, is that's what Uri's asking.
Nav, Bridge.
And my guess is we're not seeing
Go ahead,
that.
Bridge.
Just want to confirm.
But it's a great thing to look for, because we are on the side of this valley.
One
One of the suggestions is this whole valley wall is
Yeah, due west. Looks like it'll work.
a big
let me zoom out on
fault
high pack and double
scarp,
check.
in
I'll
which
call you back.
case looking for evidence of the actual fault itself. Nowhere on the dive so far have we seen the actual fault. We've seen the effect of the fault, the rocks being pushed up or pushed down, but we haven't seen an actual rock from the fault, because often those rocks have been removed. And so Uri saw this
Bridge nav?
flat, steeply dipping face, and I'm sure he thought,
Yeah, I confirm.
could
Due
that
west
be
is
an
perfect
actual
for us.
fault?
Okay, great, thanks.
And the
Yep.
best evidence for that would be to find...
From the Sirius, it's quite a flat rock over there.
Sorry, Yuri, I didn't get that. Can you...
Mark, do you see that the view from the Sirius was quite a
Right.
flat rock face?
Yeah, yeah.
Vertical.
got a little more zoom. You're ready.
That might be good.
Okay.
Just hovering here.
So again, the task is kind of looking to see if we see a very steep face, a subvertical face, if we can see any texture
Okay,
on that face.
Sirius is still swinging.
No, I just.
Thanks, Todd. That was great.
Less than 20, we
I just came down about 5 meters, so I think that's.
So we're trying to test whether these
I don't think I'm moving.
that very steep flat face could actually be the fault itself. And I guess I would have to say it wasn't convincing. Something had to make that flat face, but I'm not sure it was the fault.
I'm gently rising.
Okay.
Todd,
Can you zoom in? It's colored.
Todd, if you if you're moving and you can't do it, but the green stuff just below center in the screen, they're colored.
On your command.
To help Todd a little bit, what we're always trying to do is look under the mud, look under the black stuff. So if you see a different color to either the black or the mud, that's kind of what we're interested in.
Okay. Okay, Dan, you want to go in on this?
And I think that very much, that looks like the actual rock. And it does appear to have that green coloration. And actually, if you look just to the left, we can maybe see some dark streaking on it. What do you think, Uri? Are we seeing striations? So underneath the mud.
Yeah, it's possible.
So we're looking underneath the brown mud, but you can see those dark subvertical lines.
I was just calculating that right now.
Could well be striations on the face of an actual real fault.
It is possible. It's worthwhile taking some XP screen captures and maybe distributing them and hearing other people's opinion.
Thanks, Uri. Thanks, Todd. I think that's great.
Okay. Dan, you want to go real tight on some of these striations?
Sure.
Darker.
Yeah, if you could get closer, that would have helped. But
can you go full zoom?
Yes, I can. That's full.
Okay. Let me try to get a little closer.
Uri, Jason, can you type some of that into the web log I'm throwing out
tilt
again?
the lower swing arm lights upward a bit as well?
Yes, I'll type it.
You mean bring them down?
Or rotate them upward? Is that not possible?
I'm not sure what you're asking for. You're going to have to
That's great.
communicate that to Jim.
No, I think that's great, guys.
They come down. Once they're down, they only come. There's no axial. There's no rotation around the axis of the.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
It's different than the upper ones.
Did you come out?
You got
Dan, I'll come up.
And thank you, Uri, on shore for spotting that.
There's a coral right there, or what appears to be from here. You want to go back in real quick, Dan? Is there interest in looking at this?
Survey 1 nav?
We're in pretty stable spot.
If we make it out here to where we're planning to be, that's calling it 3,400 meters. We're time off bottom is 1638 local, 2038 UTC.
Looks like we have another one of these whip coral, black corals.
Obviously, if we don't make as good a time, then we'll be deeper and we'll have to come up a little sooner.
Yeah, that's a black, isn't it?
That's full.
Great.
I think I'm drifting back.
That's good, Todd. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's mosey on up this face.
We're at a depth of 3,884 meters.
Jim, I'm going to be coming up this.
Yep, so I'll just stay with you.
Pilot, co-pilot, just let me know if you guys get in a position for a move, and I can dial one in. It's pretty steep, so I'll wait for you guys to feel more comfortable.
Great. Yeah, let's get up to where I can stretch out.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
What's our time off bottom?
16:30, give or take.
20:30.
20:30 UTC.
Really?
Yeah, we're supposed to get up to about 3,400 meters from this cliff. So if we don't quite make it all the way up, then obviously we'll have to come up sooner. I'll have to time that. This is so steep, it'll be hard to estimate. We're currently at 38.75, so if we can make it up 500-ish meters between now and the end.
We have another hour and a half left in the dive.
Oh, might be a little less, but
we're headed up slope.
the hope is to make it to ROV 5. It's not likely.
Saw at least 2 species of corals today, a couple of swimming Holothurians.
Excel.
Yeah.
Several different species of sponges
authors,
colonizing the rock faces.
Okay. It's a handy little thing.
One predatory tunicate, no fishes yet today.
Started pretty simple, and it's been added to a lot.
Out a little bit. What do you say we dial in a small move? I don't think it'll take much to keep us moving.
Come toward you
15,
10 meters.
20, 15. Pilot?
Yep.
15, 20? 15?
Oh, I'm not doing it, Mike. I was thinking I was going to call it in.
I think 15 or 20 is okay.
Okay.
Jim is 25 meters away from the closest return, and as soon as we go up, it'll walk away from him.
Yeah.
So
I'll go I'll go 20. Get on your toes.
You gonna take a snap zoom
And,
on the sponge while you're sitting here?
085, still pretty good heading.
Andrea, we're about to dial in a move on the ship, so we
Well,
have a little time at the end of our tether here.
If we're going toward D2, it's more like 110, 110.
110.
I can get out in front of whatever the move is.
Or 115.
Dan, you want to take a zoom on this
Takes
sponge?
us a little ways off where we're headed. He wants to swing around towards your port a little more.
Well, the other's fine too, but I don't think it matters.
Yeah, okay.
Zooming in on another glass sponge.
We're going to try generally uphill rather than sideways, I think. So.
Jim, did Chris show you the hydraulics? If you want to take those upper swing arms and tip them down.
He did.
Cool. Feel free to play. You don't have to ask.
Okay.
What's that on the right?
Try to get used to the
It's
primary
bright
functions
white.
here.
It's very tiny.
It looks like it had
Oh,
legs.
I think too much about the secondary ones, but
Okay.
Do you see,
if you
Todd?
need anything, by all means tell me.
I see
Center
it.
screen now.
I do. I see it. I'm going to try to keep that in the center and let Dan go in on it.
That's full zoom.
That's a try. That's very small.
Tiny.
I think there was also a polychaete just to the left from the Smith there.
Okay.
Could tell that was
All right, I'm going to call it in. 20 meters,
An
090.1 knots.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Hard to tell.
All right. Bridge, ROV nav.
Good, Nev.
Ship move, please.
Absolutely.
All right, 20 meters, bearing 090,
Thanks.
I didn't catch that.
1/10 of a knot, please.
Okay. 20, bearing 090 at 0.1 knots.
Perfect, thanks.
Yeah, no polychaete.
Too much else going on.
Likely pteropods.
Where's the polychaete?
I said I was going to stick my toes in.
No, we think it's a pteropod now.
Oh, okay.
It's just to the left of the sponge, right on the edge of the center bottom.
Go full zoom. Is that what Tim is looking at?
Is that what you're looking at, Tim?
That is it precisely. What do you think?
All right, ship move dialed in.
Yeah.
Detritus? Or is it a shiny pteropod shell?
Shiny, like it's
Yeah.
carapace or a
pteropod test.
pteropod test.
Yeah.
It's just not moving.
Yeah. We're going to go back to that, isopod possibly? Are you guys setting up still to get a close-up of the...
That's full zoom, isn't it, Dan?
Yes, it is.
Can you
Yeah,
center?
that's all you're going to have.
Oh, okay.
I can center it, but
Yeah.
you're not going to get more zoom.
Okay. Interesting. Its legs look like terrestrial spiders, like daddy long legs. I'm not sure we know what that is. I feel like there's been a lot of that today. Things we haven't seen before, which has been really cool.
That's very true.
I like what, Chris Ma pointed out, described once and hadn't been seen again for 100 years.
Have there been other dives at this east side of the Mona Canyon?
There have been one Alvin dive on the east wall, a little to the south.
But much further to the south. And,
Yeah.
and without checking, Graciela, maybe not this deep.
Go sideways. What's the movement of the ship?
090.
090.
That'll be off.
Yeah. A little bit to his port. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll mosey on that way.
I see the ship has started moving.
I might be able to give you that
there you go.
information
Cirrus
briefly
just
here
barely
in
updated
a minute.
its tracking. It was hovering in this one spot for
I mean, this
a
is
really
just,
long time. I
to
was
pinpoint
afraid we had lost tracking on it, but
few and far
it's back.
missions that we've had of exploring this area. And, at depth being probably the place to find many species that had not been described before, as well as the Mona Canyon being, and the Mona Passage being one of those places considered a hotspot for biodiversity in the Caribbean.
Great.
Sure.
And, some of the work that has been done with the Alvin submersible and the Johnson Sea Link submersible, there have been some deeper dives, but most of the effort has been shallower than 1,000 meters, so we're really exploring new depth territory here.
So let me just say that in Spanish, okay?
Great.
Because I think it's extremely important, especially because, we need to continue to develop knowledge to allow us to continue exploration. So I'll just say something very brief. Es que estamos hablando de que ha habido pocas buceadas en esta área, poco exploración. Así es que esto es nuevo, porque además las otras misiones que han habido han sido mucho más aguas mucho menos fundas que las que estamos explorando ahora. Esto es un área virgen, un sitio donde podríamos estar encontrando una cantidad significativa de especies nuevas, y por dos razones. Uno, por el profundo y que no se ha explorado casi nada, y segundo, porque el canal de la Mona es en general una de las áreas que se considera como una de alta biodiversidad en el Caribe.
Sure. Do a snap zoom.
Go ahead.
Another crinoid. See some Sargassum detritus in the upper left.
Do you want to get a closer look on that watch lead, or are you happy?
Go ahead, workshop. Yeah.
That's good, pilots. Thank you.
Okay, moving up.
Got a good look.
Full wide.
No, there are huge spools in the bottom of there, but they're 10 gauge. Just about. Yep.
I think Jim, are you starting to move?
Maybe.
Ship's just about done with its move.
I mean, the jumps in the nav are a lot bigger than whatever we've moved.
Another Pennyastes type swimming Holothurian.
Yeah, I think it's moving.
We have gotten some great images of that. Unless video wants another beauty shot, we're good to go.
Okay.
It's a little bit hypnotizing to follow those guys. You just get
those and shrimps
in a rhythm with them and just start to drift.
Yeah.
The dancing cucumber.
At one with your inner invertebrate.
Yeah, no fish today. We were at this deep on the west wall of Mona Canyon yesterday and observed a couple different species, holosaurs, rat tails, or grenadiers, and the deep sea lizardfish. And today, no fish so far. We're at a depth of 3,868 meters. And the temperature right now is 2.4 degrees Celsius with a dissolved oxygen of 8.04. And just to remind everybody where we're diving on the east wall of Mona Canyon, which is approximately...
Dial in another ship move to keep it moving. I think we can keep...
Yeah, I think so.
Easily another 20. Safely.
25 miles from northwest
Another
Puerto
20?
Rico.
Yeah, this is all pretty soft.
The ship's done its move, right? I haven't tracked it. But
Yeah, looks like it has. It's settling in.
It's pretty vertical, but it's not a wall ahead of us, right? So we're okay.
Andrea, is there something to the right of D2 in the Sirius view? It's sort of a light object.
Yeah, I see that.
Holothurian.
I think it's in the water column.
Do you see that? Yeah. A little deeper than you.
Bridge, ROV nav.
I think it's going to be
Go ahead, Nav.
out of reach.
Another ship move, please.
Absolutely.
Same as the last. 20 meters, bearing 090, 1/10 of a knot.
It's positioning for
Hold on,
us.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, absolutely. Same as the last. 20 meters, 090, 1/10 of a knot.
Okay. 20 meters, 090.1.
Thank you.
You got it.
Oh, I see it. If you tilt the camera up a bit more.
I think it's more up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fish.
Just when I said we had seen
Incredible
no fish
viewing.
today.
Jim, I'm coming up off the bottom a little bit to chase this.
There's one.
Zoom seriously.
Yeah, every now and then. Get a look around.
There it is.
Looks like a Bazozetus. No, looks like a Cuskio, not a rat
You
tail.
can zoom when you're ready.
Not a rat tail. It could be a snailfish. Will you make it turn?
It's a liparid.
Could be a liparid.
Does it have eyes?
Yeah, it has eyes. Oh.
Let him
Thing on it.
fly through the view.
And
He's
Does it have eyes? Can I get any closer to the screen? Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Wow.
That's different.
So what are we ruling out here, Andrea?
I think it might be a Liparid. I'm hoping that it will turn. We could see if there's... Could be a Cuskill too. DC pelvic, yeah, so we have a Cuskill. Is this the same species we've seen? It looks a little different to me.
Still climbing, Jim.
Yep.
I'm a little bit too close to him. I need
Hang
to get him
on,
in
Yeah, I
the
agree.
cooler light better.
It's different. So is there a parasite
I
down
think
the
there
back?
might be a parasite towards the posterior end.
We're still climbing.
So we have another Cuskill
we're
here
going
in view. A new one for this expedition.
Do we know anything about the depth range of this?
Not sure on the genus of this yet, but several Cuskills can occur fairly deep. It's all general information I have right now.
Well,
Great spot, Amanda.
Nice job, Todd.
Okay, let's go full wide and come back to the bottom.
Thanks. I'm still randomized, but I thought I could help.
It's interesting that we had been talking of the fact that lights might have something to do with the avoidance behavior of fish, but this one was between the two ROVs, or was it just below D2?
Going down?
Okay, great.
It was just below D2.
You need to spin left to come on to our track, or
Yep.
you?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll shimmy back
Yeah.
over here.
60 degrees south of it. Still not quite there. Got another 20 degrees to go.
Okay.
Are those tracks from falls or from animals? From sediment falls?
I would guess they're sediment falls, yeah. They're just so vertical.
Yeah. And is that a just small rock in the depression at the top of that?
Yeah.
Ooh. No, sorry. I got excited. I thought I saw pink, fluffy stuff. Sorry, Andrea.
Pink, fluffy stuff.
Yeah.
That one on the left, in the lower left.
Yeah, Bridge.
Vertical.
Might have been a starfish.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Coming up on 5 meters.
Copy that. Pilot, co-pilot, about 5 meters left in the move. How you feeling?
Sorry, Uri, you said the face looks pretty steep?
It looked pretty regular. We're just hossing it now.
Want to let it settle?
Right side is mostly below us. But
Sure.
It's like a fairly irregular subvertical.
Sure.
Unlike most of the other lumpy stuff that we see.
Can you pan up, pilot?
Sure.
My only concern, and tracking isn't that good, but this
Another
dot I
stock
put
sponge,
here,
just has a very long
I'm
stock.
kind of hovering over. That's the mark
Another
I
glass
put
sponge.
on the first move where 20 meters should end, give or take. So we're still a move and a half behind on Sirius, possibly.
I believe that. Do you want to zoom in on this, Science?
We're good. Keep going. We've gotten great images of that.
I can't hear you. Your mic's way down by your neck.
Todd,
Time constant is like 15 minutes probably.
Yeah.
that one of those, if you go back down, I'm not sure if the origin of that, what they thought was the sediment fall.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure one of them is a starfish. I don't know if that's of interest. If we can go back down that far.
Can't keep moving up slope.
Can. Okay.
What's that? Want to go in on that real quick? Snap zoom, Dan.
Squat lobster. Maybe.
Another squat lobster. We believe we were just imaging this one before.
Move along.
Yeah, can you pan around a little bit to get the dorsal side of it?
I can sure
Just curious.
do that.
That's certainly a different morse than what we had earlier. Yesterday and today again.
Yeah, I think earlier you might have stepped out and we got a good
Starboard
image
swing arm,
of
the
this.
lower one is out a little.
I missed
Seems
the
like
lesson.
it's
You did.
not touching yet. It's close though. It's like
Like
maybe
it's got
5 inches or 6 or
features that are
something.
better
Oh, it's
than the
very
rostrum
close.
and the
Yeah, it's pretty
the
close.
spine from the legs.
Andrew, you're not going to happen right now.
It's much more spiny than what we've been seeing.
Yeah, and the rostrum looks to be a little
Come out, Dan.
skinnier, I guess, more pointed.
It's full.
Can't really get a good angle on his top side.
Okay, keep moving.
All right, Cirrus is definitely swinging by now. And it's made it probably the first 20 meters. Not a little bit farther. Maybe another
Do you want me to bring that swing arm in?
15 or 20 to swing.
I think it's okay as long as I don't try to do that kind of maneuver where I put my side against the wall.
Yeah.
Coming up, Jim. Another crinoid?
Looks like it.
Have a quick look, Dan.
This is the common species we've seen throughout this dive.
There's a fish on the left. Or,
Little
a
shrimp on the left.
Yeah.
Or a mysid.
Go all the way in on him. It's nice contrast.
Oh, it's really moving very quickly to stay in one place. Yeah, this is a mysid shrimp.
Nice flying.
Okay, I'm gonna.
They're often called
scoot
possum
along
shrimp as
there.
well because you can
Right.
often see them carrying their eggs on the underside.
It's full.
I wonder if we should bring our lower swing arms up like 20 degrees, just a little safer. I got pretty close there as well. What do you think, guys?
I'm fine with doing that if I can.
Sounds smart.
Just
Now
so
that
you
we're,
know, those particular functions, Jim, are really
Twitchy?
snappy. Yeah, you have to creep up on it. You have to open up the valve a bit, otherwise they get stuck down. But once you get them moving, they really move fast.
sonar return
Alright,
shows the
cool.
wall pretty close too, Jim.
Okay,
Why isn't it?
It's easy to get lost in hydraulics land.
Yeah,
Can you, is it too late to pan down?
I'll give you a
Sorry, just looks
Yeah.
like there might have been another sea star right there.
I think that was another
Squat
squat
lobster.
Oh, another spot lobster, okay.
Quick zoom. But not a very good view of it.
Yeah.
some sort of user error here, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not
Check
able
your
to.
HPU.
The
make sure
same
it's-
morphotype that we
Oh, he's
were
got
just
pressure on.
imaging.
Yeah, okay.
I've enabled the valve pack. I'm trying to move the slider. It just doesn't seem to.
Lower swing arm to stow.
Here, let me do it.
There you go.
See how snappy it is? On the port side. That one's a little smoother. Okay. I think we're good
Oh,
now.
I see. I was trying to move the display thing, not the control thing. It's okay if I play with it just a little.
Sure, but you mind coming up a little first? I'm going to climb this.
Went up.
Mike, can you give the viewers just a quick recap of what you learned today about the geology on the East Wall of Mona Canyon so far?
Sure, Andrea. So we started at about 4,000 meters, and we encountered to start with a talus slope, just a piece of rock that had formed down the hillside, and then as we moved up, we hit real outcrop, real in situ rock, which is what we're looking at now. And I guess the big find is this is the basement to Puerto Rico. These are the rocks that lie underneath the carbonate sequence we were looking at yesterday. And we've pretty much convinced ourselves we were looking at greenish, fascies, probably volcanic rocks. But Puerto Rico basement, or the rocks underneath Puerto Rico have a long history.
We're still moving and it's pretty steep.
Puerto Rico started to form something like 140 million years ago, and the rocks underneath are from that sort of age until about 40 million years ago, and they represent the rocks of a volcanic island arc.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
and those
7,
are the
8.
rocks that we're seeing now.
And we have an Octa Coral in view. This is the third colony today of this species. We don't have a name on it yet, but it's soft coral. It's similar to Anthomastus.
I'm drifting. Wait.
Andrew, any idea what that white elongate piece is?
It's full.
On one of the polyps?
Yeah, pilot's just going in. Is this some type of worm?
So Jim is about 10 meters, 15 meters from the steep wall. I'm going to scoot, guys.
All right.
Oh, okay.
You got it.
Go on up the hill here.
That's okay.
You're full.
Climb fast, Jim.
I'm sorry, say again?
I'm going to climb pretty quick.
Yep.
Up on top of this. You're getting pretty close to that feature.
And I guess the other cool thing we found was a few minutes ago we found some flat faces which were almost vertical, and they were probably faults. Not necessarily the fault that formed the canyon wall, but perhaps one of a set of faults that formed the canyon wall. And so, you know, we actually saw a surface on which the rocks had likely just moved downwards, part of the fault system that created Mona Canyon.
A little better.
Yeah, it's getting a little better.
Yeah.
Quite a little nose on that feature, and it continues.
Looks like you guys are settling under the transom shortly.
Very vertical terrain.
We're at a depth of 3,826 meters, 3826.
So you haven't dialed another ship move in for a while, is that right?
I haven't dialed in another for a while, that's correct.
Okay. Sirius is 20 meters away from the near wall. You could climb a little bit more, but I'm starting to get stretched out. You guys want to put in another one?
Sounds good.
Sure.
It's got a little time to wait for it to get going. So.
So I still haven't figured out this hydraulic function. You press above null, right?
But try to
I believe that sponge we just passed was the species observed at the start of the dive.
A little bit of friction to.
Maybe I don't have a conductive finger. Just not working at all
Todd,
for
do you
me.
have a feeling for how steep this is? Is it nearly subvertical?
I think, why don't we turn and look along the slope?
Turn left or right?
Thank you, Todd.
That was
Oh,
to
your
Mike.
turn.
I just want to give a, mention taxonomy here. Chris Ma is a echinoderm expert, particularly focusing on sea stars, asteroids in particular, and he's been all over the world to examine museum material, the type of material. So when the species is initially described, it gets assigned an accession number for a museum and then deposited into a museum. And so taxonomists can visit museums all over the world to look at this material. And then when we see things like this we saw today, the sea star today, without Chris Ma, we probably wouldn't have known that that was described 100 years ago if we hadn't had recently gone and actually visited the museum and identified and looked at that specimen that was preserved. So the value of museum collections are really important.
Say that
again?
Ship move,
Taxonomy
please.
too, and having taxonomists that can call in and give us that kind of information
You ready?
is extremely valuable.
Sorry, I cannot hear you that well. You're right. We're going to go 20 meters.
Okay.
Bearing 090
Okay.
at 1/10 of a knot, please.
Roger that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. That was great.
Sure.
Mike, can you repeat what Todd said about the steepness of this area? Because I couldn't hear him.
Sorry, Graciela, say that again. The thickness of...
The steepness of the area that you were asking.
Oh, steepness.
about.
Okay. Sorry, I apologize.
Steepness, yes.
So what you saw was the pilot rotated the D2 to look parallel to the slope.
Yeah.
And so you could see, even though it was not a planar slope, it's rough, but essentially it's very, very steep. It's almost subvertical. So we're on a subvertical cliff face.
And I think this is the third or fourth sighting of this anemone today, or corallimorph. Very wide base. It's got these extremely short tentacles with these bulbs at the top.
What is that? Is that a coral polyp?
It's not a coral. It's still under question what that is. Can you get in any closer to that?
I'll try.
That's we have our own scientific name in the chat room for that.
Ready when you are.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's great.
It does look like it has.
It's full zoom.
It also looks like it has an associate on there, like a sea star. Maybe that's just.
No, they're like little plumes coming out. Is it a bryozoan? I keep coming back to that, but do you see it? They're like little fan-like structures out of every.
Yeah, right.
I'm losing it.
Not quite
Sorry.
polyps with tentacles.
Oh, no. I don't know if I stare at it long enough, it looks like there are individual tentacles on each one of those.
There are, yeah, there are, and that's why I'm wondering if they're actually, the feeding structure, that lophophore feeding structure. That's. But yeah, there is every single one of those. It looks like there's something coming out.
Dead, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not a coral, but still not quite sure. A couple different guesses.
Okay, Dan. I don't have a very stable toe hold.
That's full.
Did you have a toe hold for that, or you just...
Part of the time.
Oh, wow.
What is that right in the center of the screen?
Decapod Coral.
So another brown dead center.
Go tight.
Oh, yeah.
By the lasers.
Is that a Cereanthid, possibly? If we could get a good zoom into the mouth area, that would be helpful.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah,
full
Cereanthid anemone.
zoom.
Or a tube anemone. Inside you can see, unless I'm imagining it, another row of tentacles. Yeah, there they are. Another type of Cnidarian today.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
It's full.
Mike, can you go to the flat wall on the right? Subvertical?
Todd, can we go to the steeply dipping flat wall on the right? I think that face is definitely some sort of structure within the rock. Uri, what were you looking for?
Yeah, well, I was looking because it's interesting that among all this lumpy rock that we see from time to time,
You see the
smooth,
yeah,
subvertical surfaces there.
Right.
You know, which may be typical of the fold zone.
Right.
I have a very vertical nose here. I'm going to rise up.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. I think that's
just above me is pretty getting close to Sirius. Jim, I'm going to come up pretty
Yep.
quick.
I'll come up too.
Thank you, Todd.
We're at depth of 3,815 meters,
pretty quick,
3815.
I can even move them a little.
Quick look at this. Well, Jim gets a little bit ahead of me.
Okay, we have a Versengid star here. How many arms?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8?
I believe so. I'll try to get you a better view.
I've got 8 too.
So my guess is one is probably missing. On the left.
Okay. Frame it up, Tan, while I've got it centered. And then I need to move along.
We haven't seen this yet today.
Yeah, I gotta go, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Pretty
Get
close
an
to this
idea on
stuff
that.
up there. I'm gonna scoot on up the hill pretty abruptly.
Mike, I have a question. With all the things around, like the snow that we're seeing, is there a possibility that if there will be strong currents and all the sediment might be moved around?
Yeah, so again, before I start, the problem is the time scale. What we're seeing is we can see the snow, we can see the sediment which is coming down, but I think a lot of the sediment, some of the sediment we're seeing is just exactly what you're suggesting. It's the snow raining down and filling in the holes in the rocks, and then on top of that we get the more irregular, less frequent rock failures where we get both rocks and sediments, rolling down the hillside when we get a landslide. So I think, what we're actually seeing is, the little snow, the little pieces of sediment that are falling down, which are ultimately trying to cover up the rocks. And then every now and again, the whole thing gets shaken and the rocks then start crashing down and we get a landslide.
Where do we figure we are on the move?
Did we just pass over a Holothurian?
Ship move's probably complete. Just letting things settle. And you guys look like you're hurrying up, so I was going to let you sort it out.
Yeah, I think it's stretched out in front of us now.
we got room to do another move if we want to, I think.
I think we do.
Okay, Cirrus has got another, give or take, 15-ish meters to move, probably.
15, you said?
Yeah. You're staying generally under the transom, so right now, I mean, this blob I say is you.
Right.
And that's actually
Okay.
a little over 20 according to this, so 15 is probably an underestimate. But so you have a little more to swing.
Let it settle then.
Oh, maybe they're 8-armed, huh? So here's another Bracingid with 8 arms.
Would you like another view of this?
So wispier version up on the left too.
Tan.
Can we cut the lasers for a few seconds?
It's beautiful, thank you.
ROV page 1. Here, watch ROV bank 1. Right there. Need that button here.
Yeah. Education, Dave said the craft is out of commission.
He turned it off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Scooting along.
Full wide.
Track over ground was 090 for the ship, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Just
correct.
to right of your head.
Looks like
Squat lobster on the rock on the left.
just starting to settle. I'm going to dial in another. If you're okay with that?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Would you like a zoom of the squat lobster?
Yeah, please.
Ready when you are, Todd.
Just a snap zoom is good.
I'm up against the wall on my right. Stand by.
Bridge, ROV nav.
See it in the starboard rail can.
Go ahead now.
Another ship move, please.
Same thing.
Same thing, 20 meters, 090.1 knots.
Roger that.
Thank you.
We're just going to try to get a closer image of the squat lobster.
Okay, Dan, let's do it from here.
You got it. Coming in. Pushing in.
Go ahead.
Don't forget to get your
That's
lasers
full
back.
zoom.
Want to take the lasers back on, Jim?
Yeah. Lasers on.
Okay, this looks to be the squat lobster observed during this dive, the most common one so far. That's great, guys. Thank you. It's good for ID.
Okay, pulling back.
I will scoot out from Sirius.
Full wide.
We're at a depth of 3,789.
That's what I bumped into. Coming up with you, Jim.
Coming up.
Maybe another squat lobster behind the sediment cloud.
Bad video, but you want a quick ID?
Yes, please.
Snap in there, Dan.
Well, that's a great shot.
Andrea, you just jinxed it.
Sorry.
You said that. Dan.
We'll pull back.
Yeah, that's hard to. I wasn't ever steady, and you were pretty tight.
Full wide. Yeah, it was pretty tight.
Okay. Let's try to outrace this.
Okay, thank you.
Now open. Ship store is now open.
Another squat lobster. Another hexagonal off to the left.
Todd, your eyes are probably better than mine, but if we ever see, a different color, in other words, we don't want to look at the mud and we don't want to look at the black face on the rocks, but if, we ever see like a patch which looks like it's bare rock poking through, it would be good to get in close.
Okay.
I mean, I've been looking, but I haven't really seen anything, but your eyes are better than mine.
You know who has the youngest eyes here is Jeff, so I'm going to swap seats with him. Let him fly until dinner.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Todd.
guys. Thanks, Todd.
You're still pretty young, Todd.
Todd, you're a baby as far as I'm concerned.
I think we're the same age, so I'm, I'm saying he's young.
Nav bridge, we've got about 3 meters left to move.
3 meters left, thank you. We'll let it settle there for a minute.
Sure, no problem.
Today is we're conducting our 5th dive of the Oceano Profundo expedition. We're on the east wall of Mona Canyon. We started at a depth today of 4,000 meters after we completed 5 amazing midwater transects from 800 to 1,200 meters. And we've been working our way up slope. We're currently at a depth of 3,771 meters. Local time is 15:59, and we have about 30-35 minutes to relieve the bottom.
All right, Dan.
Let's come
What
in
is
real
that
quick.
on? Is that another Octa Coral? It looks like. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this rock. This looks like
Great.
a patch in the rocks, like he was looking for.
Thank you.
Possibly.
Wow. Good eye.
So if
Come in
you-
a little more.
Yeah, if that's possible, that'd be great. Definitely got a red coloration. Again, telling us probably it's different to the carbonates. It's something different. But to say much more is very difficult.
Well, earlier you said that could indicate that the chemistry is a little different, correct?
Right. So,
Come out a little and get the
you know, if it is indeed, if we are indeed, which is, I think is correct, in the basement to the carbonates, in the basement rocks of Puerto Rico, these rocks are a complicated set of volcanic rocks and what we call plutonic rocks, intruded rocks. That were once liquid magma and then they've frozen, and on top of that they've all been heated up and metamorphosed.
Okay.
So you can imagine a very
Wide.
complicated hodgepodge of different types of rocks that are hard to tell by just seeing red color.
Sure.
Pilots, we've dialed in 40 meters in the last 20 minutes. We're probably, my guess would be we've finished at least one of those 20s and might have another 15 to 20 to swing. I was going to put in another given the current sonar return and your stretched out tether. Is that okay?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds fine.
Okay.
How are you doing today, Jeff?
Doing pretty well. Feeling chipper.
Feeling chipper?
Yes.
Did you get a good night's sleep?
Got an okay night's
I had
sleep.
a weird dream about 1 o'clock.
Bells were going off.
I had winch this morning, so I got to get up at 5:30 instead of 4:30. So the extra
Bridge
hour
nav?
means a lot.
That's nice. So, is there a
wanna come in on
tunicate?
this
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nav.
Yeah, Rich, we'd like to put in another move.
Okay.
20 meters.
That looks like a
090
sponge.
at 1/10 of
Partly
a knot.
dead.
Roger that.
Thank you.
Yeah, glass sponge.
Go all the way video if you got it.
That's full.
Okay. Alright, when you're ready video, I am.
So you can see living tissue here, and then on the right of the sponge, on the outskirts of it, it's mostly dead.
Okay, pulling back.
Great.
Thanks, Jeff.
Welcome.
Full wide.
Just want to back up a little here, give you a view. This is a pretty good nose sticking out, it looks like, from one of my other cameras. See, it falls away a lot over on this side and on the other. You're just kind of running up
So
a ridge or a nose.
Interrupt a second.
Just one. Yeah, sure. Let me just pilot. Can you go in, zoom on that bright white object?
Near the center of the
Yeah,
screen.
yep. Let me just
Thanks.
get a little closer.
Yeah, go ahead, Graciela.
Right in.
No, I was just going to say something in Spanish about what Mike had talking about, since we're
Looks like
almost
another
at the end
Octa
of the
Coral, similar to what
of the
we can see.
dive.
We'll snap in on it.
Aquellos que han estado oyendo estas áreas de afloramiento, piedra volcánica, realmente es el sótano, es la base de la geología de Puerto Rico y probablemente data de 40 millones de años, una cosa así. Ha sido muy interesante porque han estado concentrándose en buscar áreas donde hay diferencia de colores y ese rojo que vieron ahorita es por la complejidad de la formación geológica de esta área.
You can go all the way or a little farther.
Okay.
Just frame it. That's
Just
good.
that I got a text asking for something and I just repeated what Mike said in Spanish.
That's great, Graciela. Thank you for doing that.
It's beautiful, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. When you're ready, Dan.
Well, thank you for the information because it's been quite interesting.
Yeah, so we were just looking at an Octa Coral. You can see the 8 tentacles and the polyps surrounding the mouth. If you notice, the polyps are pretty large, so this helps to maximize the efficiency of capturing food in an environment that's relatively food poor. Can you zoom in on that Holothurian? I think that's new.
Yeah,
Or Tim may have saw one a little while ago. I don't think we got a good image of it.
Just slow down a little here. Okay, video, come on in.
I dropped Jim's sonar down to 30-meter range.
Copy.
Is that a
As you can
nudibranch
see, it's
or a
getting
Holothurian?
pretty close.
Okay, if we need to move, let me know.
Well, I think it's time to get up the wall.
Okay,
After you finish
Yeah, it's
looking
likely
at
a
this.
Holothurian.
Standing by for further zoom.
Okay, go in as I come up. There you go.
Going to scan a paper to see if there's an ID in it.
Alright, I think I gotta run video, sorry.
You got it.
That was good, thank you.
Coming up, Jim.
Yep.
In a little bit of a hurry.
So we have seen 2 of those white sea cucumbers. I think 3 species of sea cucumbers today, or Holothurians. That one is different for me. I'm not sure if anybody else on shore has seen that before.
Sorry we couldn't spend longer.
That's okay. Thank you. You got a good shot. Good for ID.
Jim is magically
I had a
above that
question about
feature
the
now. Back to 50-meter range on his sonar.
the vertical profile that we're
Jumped
seeing.
over that
So I'm just
nose.
going to repeat what Mike said earlier also.
Okay.
Que la pared vertical que estamos viendo es casi vertical. Lo que y entonces lo que se ve en la cámara número 2, si van a la página de internet donde están mirando los específicos, van a ver que hay 3 caras. Si van a la segunda cámara, van a ver lo que está viendo el robot, y así pueden ver como D2 va casi sí, a la par con la pared, o sea, está completamente paralelo a la pared.
Take a look at the fish, please.
Going in.
Standing by.
Yeah, thanks, video. Just getting a little closer. Okay, and let's go.
Partial.
Thank you.
Okay, another Cuskio. Can you go in? Oh yeah, I can see the 2 filamentous pelvic rays.
Trying to follow it. Oh, hitting my toe.
Pilot, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the same species we were imaging before. I'm trying to decide if it's the same species
Going
we've
further
seen
when
at
you're
this
ready.
depth
Yep, go
on
ahead on.
previous dives.
Try to get its head. Great. Just gonna track along its body here. Maybe.
Come back a bit.
That looks like the same. So this would be a Basozetus.
Okay, come on in. Is there something specific you need to see signs to know exactly?
Couldn't get it any farther than genus because you need to look at the internal structures to identify it further. So
Copy that. Videos or anything you need?
It's a little dark. I'm having a hard time focusing on it.
Alright, if you come wide, I can see if I've run away too far here.
Sure.
Might have backed up. I am actually pretty far away.
It's full wide.
Yep, thanks. I'll come in a little for you. Light it up.
So a couple lasers.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lasers off.
Thank you. All right, come on in.
So ophidiids are cuscales. They can be found in shallow water as well as deep water. The family can be found across a wide depth range and a wide habitat.
Are we looking nav, co-pilot?
I would guess that this species eats smaller fishes and crustaceans. Shrimps, seen a lot of shrimps here.
It's fine, you can let it swim off the screen. Cool. Alright, pulling back.
Great. Let's go.
Thank you.
Going up, Jim. Let's boogie.
Pilot.
The maximum depth for the ophidiids is 8,370 meters.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm just getting the feeling that the rocks have changed. So again, if you've got to go up, don't worry. But as we go up, if we can just keep our eyes peeled for somewhere maybe to get close to the rocks just to see if we can see something.
Copy that.
I mean, one of the things that should be here somewhere, and we don't know where, it could be another kilometer above us, but is what we call an unconformity, the boundary between the rocks we saw below and the limestones above. If we see that unconformity, it'll be sub-horizontal, so east-west across the screen. But somewhere in this cliff face, there should really be the boundary. And it just looks like the style of the rocks there, more rubbly, more rounded, less blocky, less jointed than we saw before. It's just my hunch we've actually changed into a different unit. But as you can see, it's all covered with this brown mud, and we can't really tell much unless we're lucky and we find a piece of rock that's broken off that lets us see inside the rocks.
Hey, snap zoom real quick video. This looks like the similar red we were looking at before.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Again, well spotted.
Okay, come on out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's good to see.
So I'm about 45 degrees left of our track.
Yep.
You know, in the beginning of the
headed over
dive,
to
Mike, you asked me what I
starboard.
thought we would see, and I said I was for sure we would see a lot of different types of cladorized sponges, and I'm not sure we even have seen one on this dive.
That's true. That's very true.
And yesterday we had quite a diversity of cladorizeds.
Another pretty big gouging nose. You can see it really well in the Sirius video. Sirius cam. Just a quick snap-in video, if you don't mind. I just want to see what this is. Another one of those Holothurians, maybe.
What is that? Or is it a polychaete?
A little farther.
Mike, can you go to the right side of the wall there? That seems again to be a little smooth.
Yeah, that's a polychaete, Jeff.
Okay.
I heard you, Yuri, after we've looked at the polychaete.
Would you like a further zoom?
No, we're okay right where we are. I think we're going to head over to the right, unless you want something.
I'll pull back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's white on the rock.
So, Uri, what did you see?
Either of these two things?
Well, again, one of those very smooth, relatively smooth. We're looking at it right now. It's a vertical.
Right.
Purple and
faces
branch, possibly.
here, and it has some light on it, and you can zoom on the lower right a little bit, just because there's more of a direct rock, see if there are any scratches on the rock or whether
little
it's
closer.
hard to tell.
Come up.
I hear you.
Oh, here's a Cladorized. I think I just need to say we haven't seen
Seems-
something yet
and
today.
then they turn up.
And then they turn up. So we're looking at a sponge right now, but to the left is one of those Cladorized sponges, Carnivorous sponges.
All right, we're
Can
gonna
This is one of those Cladorized sponges, Carnivorous sponges.
all right, we're gonna
Can
go
I try? We haven't seen an octopod yet today.
Oh, we have not.
Just getting the thing we haven't seen yet today.
There may be an associate on that.
Copy. A little bit of
Watch
current
lead
from
now.
my port to starboard. You can see the
Okay, thank
dust
you.
whiz by.
Thanks, Jerry.
Watch leads about 15-minute warning before we leave
Coming
bottom.
back, pilot.
Thank you.
Copy.
We probably have about that
Full
much
wide.
more amount of time
Wait, before you leave,
Sirius
Jeff, are you
wakes
trying to
and
get back in
stops.
to zoom in on that? There's like a little associate on that sponge.
That's the one I was just on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can try to
Standing
get
by.
back on it. We need to move soon.
Okay.
Video snap in.
Can you put back the screen that
Tight as
shows
you
the
can on
depth
that
of the
associate.
D2? Thanks.
Try to keep it in view.
Jim, what do you think? Another 20
What do you think
meters
that is,
to finish
Tim?
out the day? I'm not sure we're going to really feel it, though. That's
Is that just
let
part
the
of
ship
the
settle at this point.
sponge that's
Move around.
damaged?
Hi, Uri.
Look and see if I get a toehold here.
Hi.
You can,
really still
Uri,
view.
you can get the depth if you look at Sirius. Just add another 15 meters. That's the easiest way to do it. Roughly, that works. So look on the right, and you can see Sirius, and then just add another about 15 meters, and you'll be close.
That looks like a that associate looks like a barnacle to me.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Sorry, video. No problem. Bringing it around. Just got my toe in. They've already decided what it was.
We're good to go, Jeff. Thank
All right.
you.
Pulling back.
Roger.
Full wide.
Video watch lead on the quad. Can we get the pilot? We've lost the orientation of D2 on the quad screen.
Oh, co-pilot needs to.
Yeah, I
off
think
his-
co-pilot has his menu open at the moment. Perhaps
There we go.
we'll get that changed to the pilot screen. Hold on. Stand by.
I think I put it back for you.
Yeah, if we
Thank
put
you.
that on the pilot screen, it's probably better. I push less
Yeah.
buttons than Copilot does. Coming up to you, Jim.
Yeah, that was a good suggestion
Selfie
from you,
looks good.
Jeff,
Survey
yesterday.
two?
We changed back here, too.
Sorry, Jim, if I messed you up.
No, no, no.
Okay.
Oh man, I just.
And
wanna-
we're at a depth of
I know I don't wanna check this out.
3,733 meters, 3733.
Just want to go over and look over here. Light it up for Sirius, maybe.
Oh, it's an amazing image in Sirius view right now.
Yuri, Jason, I've lost event logger again, so if you see anything, type it in if you could. Thanks.
There. Still feeling the move, Todd, or?
Can we have the Sirius view back on the Stream 2 feed, please?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. There's some discussion of what's happening.
It's beautiful.
See, even this deep dark hole here, maybe I can light it up. Maybe it'll be broken pieces. We can look at the rock underneath.
Video watch lead. Are we trying to get the Sirius view back on that quad feed, too?
You guys are done. Got it.
Amanda, what panel did we have that in before?
Maybe we would have something hiding in here.
You're all
What's that?
set now. It's there.
Okay.
What's inside the van?
Just come in real quick, video. Just want to see if this is anything of interest.
But thanks for the
It's
great view inside the van. It's great to see your faces.
Oh, is that what it was on? Do you see me standing? I'm
I think
stretching.
it's just a rock. You can come back out.
Yeah, it's good you brushed your hair today. So.
I actually didn't. It's up in a ponytail.
Looks good.
Dan, you can come back out. Thanks. Yeah.
Did Jeff go in on that stalk right there on the
Okay.
side of the rock?
Yeah.
Snap zoom? Thank you.
Video, come in, please. Just going for the stock here. Just going to swing my head around real quick. Oh, hold on.
Would you like me to come back?
Yes, please. Right there. That's good.
Just trying to take a closer look at the stalk structure
Go
coming
down.
out of the rock on the right side.
Okay, video, come on in.
So this is different yet for this dive.
Lasers off.
Thank you.
Thanks, co-pilot.
Is that max zoom?
We've got more.
So, hold on, let me bump up. Go ahead, video.
Full zoom.
Beautiful. So we're looking at another cladorized sponge. It looks like it's a new morph, at least for this dive. I can't recall if we have seen this on previous dives either. Beautiful, guys. Thank you.
All right, pulling back.
Thank you.
Lasers on.
Sponge.
Full wide.
Great. Lifting off. Anything else in this area before I take off?
I don't see anything shoreside. Anything else in this area?
Nope, not for us.
6 or 7 minutes, guys.
Copy that.
Copy.
Coming up, Jim.
Doesn't look like you want to come up too much, or you're going to leave the bottom.
Say again?
Doesn't look like you want to come up too much, or you're going to leave the bottom.
Yeah.
Looks like it goes sort of almost horizontal.
Copy that.
We saw.
The white
Carry on, Amanda. Go ahead.
above the lasers.
Couple spots there. Couple spots we need.
The
Yep.
the
I
whip
see
light.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come on in, video. This one?
Ooh, yeah.
Partial.
Copy.
Is that max zoom?
We can go in
Oh,
further.
got a little more. I'm just stabling out
Okay,
here.
good.
I'm kind of perched precariously here. Go ahead on video.
That's beautiful. So we have a coral, an Octa Coral. Again, very large polyps. They're all oriented the same direction up. It Looks like it is a bamboo coral. You can see faint nodes, which are the brown stripes, or brown bands going around the coral, around the white part. I presume they're all pointed upward into the current in order to catch food easily.
They look like they're being blown in the current if you look at the dots fly by. Looks like the current's going up.
Oh, it does.
Like they're being blown in the current.
Maybe they're all pointed up. Yep. Good observation, Jeff. I'm hearing a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I hear myself repeat about 4
Looks
times.
like there might be a few more, maybe colonies up at the top of the rock.
Can't tell if it's branching at the nodes or the inner nodes.
There is a associate. About center screen now, center
right.
lower. I don't know if we can tell what it is.
Looks like an amphipod.
Yeah, it does.
That's beautiful, guys. Thank you. There may be a couple more up above as well.
Okay, I think that it's about time to get off bottom. Actually.
Yeah, it'll take you guys a couple
So
minutes.
would you mind zooming into those 3 white
You're a full
dots
wide
before we
pilot.
leave, Jeff?
Quickly, we can zoom
Okay,
in. But
thank
I gotta
you.
run.
Ready when you are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do a snap zoom on the other coral.
Ready when you are.
You can.
Got the rest? Take it all? Is that it?
Full zoom.
Copy.
Two nodes.
I see the nodes. Yeah.
Do you see nodes?
See them on the right there.
So yeah, the second branch from the left, 1 or 2 polyps in, you can see it.
Oh, I see. It's very faint.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
In there, yeah.
Sorry about that.
So after the 4th polyp.
One right there on the first one.
No, that was
Yeah.
me.
Now you see it.
Yep. After the 4th polyp on that one as well.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So I guess we have to leave the bottom.
Nice job keeping it steady, Jeff.
Unfortunately, we gotta run.
All right, pulling back.
Thank you, ROV team. Thank you, Jeff, Jim, and Todd.
Okay. I'm going to head up.
Yeah, let's get up and
Todd,
start to stretch out.
Dropping a
Well,
target.
thank you all for a wonderful dive. The depth right now is 3,729 meters. We're leaving the bottom.
So I think my heading's about right, probably, Jeff.
Okay, I think
Preparing
if I
to leave
turn
bottom.
around left and drive.
It's been a great dive today.
Come under
We
you
had our
first,
5th
but-
dive of the expedition, surveying the east wall of Mona Canyon. A few corals today, bamboo coral here at the end of the dive, but also the
Say again?
Anthomastus-like or soft coral observed throughout the dive. And in the beginning, we observed a black coral that appeared to be a whipped coral at first, but other observations indicated that the species branched towards the tip, so that was a really cool find. Several squat lobsters today. Towards the end, some cladorized sponges, and it looks like we had a couple cusk eels today as well.
Get the swing arms stowed.
So for biology, a little different from yesterday's dive. We were in the same depth range, although yesterday we did get a little shallower. Yesterday we were on the west wall of Mona. Anything to add for geology?
You weren't able to do it?
Just very briefly, I
can
think
do it, Jim. Go ahead.
mission accomplished.
you.
We
No, just
dove deep in an effort to dive on the basement, the rocks that form the the core of Puerto Rico, the rocks below the carbonate shelf, and we succeeded. We found a bunch of rocks, which I think we convincingly verified as the kind of greenish, fascies, volcanic rocks that are found underneath the carbonate. And on top of that, we thought we found some fault structures, not a major fault, but part of maybe the fault system that actually formed the eastern wall of the Mona Canyon. And in which case, you know, we actually saw little evidence that of how Mona Canyon forms, that it's formed by big faults. So thank you to everybody on shore as well, everybody that was listening and everybody watching, to the folks at Hui, Tim and Uri and Jason and Amanda and Taylor and anybody else that I've missed there. Thank you to Graciela, the Mikes, Mike Ford and Mike Vecchione, who were online earlier, Chris for chiming in.
Yeah, this is Mike Ford here. How you doing, Mike?
Hi, Mike. How are you? And everybody else, Amy, just going down the list, Chris, Eric, Lindy, Liz, and I think I almost got everybody. So thank you, everybody, for hanging in.
And Chris Ma, who called in with that amazing observation.
Yeah, and thank you to Chris Ma. That was great, too.
What's that?
Should I be going quickly yet, or just
I got to catch up to you some.
So there'll be a conference call for those interested in planning the next dive and reviewing this dive in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So conference call in 15 minutes for those listening. And to everybody else, goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow with our hopefully next exciting dive. Tomorrow's dive will be a shallow dive in the 500 to 300 meter range off the west coast of Puerto Rico. So goodbye from us.
12, so don't speed up too fast just yet. But you can get going.